Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. I'm just checking in on you. Obviously, it's video. Whenever we have video, that means I have a guest, and I never have a guest on unless it's somebody that I love, I admire, a special guest, and I can't believe that we got this guy on the podcast. Today, we have one of the greatest motorcycle champion racers ever, Fast Freddie Spencer, coming here on the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. Three-time world champion. I mean, I go through the whole list here. It's like an IMDb page of like Morgan Freeman, all the stuff that you won. Youngest MotoGP champion up until a few years ago. And then the most impressive thing that they say will never be broken. In 1985, he won the 250cc and 500cc the same year. Literally, Bo Jackson level stuff. And Freddie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, I can't believe that, I'm so new to the sport. I've only watched since, I came in right when Valentino Rossi was towards the end of his career.
Toward the end of his career?
Yeah, and Marc Marquez was doing his thing, and his big battles a lot of the time were with Andres Dovizioso.
Right.
Those great Honda Ducatis. They passed each other 7 times on the final lap, and I found the sport because I grew frustrated with F1, where Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton were just so dominant and the cars were so wide, like there was no passing. And I just found that, if Lewis made it it was a race to the first turn, and then it was just 50 parade laps, not parade, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. We call it a kind of a procession. The one thing that we have on motorcycles, and I know that you can appreciate this because I know you ride. I know you go out to the airport and you ride out at the airport, right?
I actually now ride in the canyons. I finally got
Oh, do you? You got
civilization.
this up a little bit? I was going to talk to you about that in a minute.
Oh, good. I need all the help I can get.
Hey, listen, that's something I love doing. I love doing is teaching. But one of the things that our sport has that the other sports, the motorsports level, and it's one of the reasons why we're very popular with the Formula One guys. They love watching the sport. They love coming and watching us. Is our ability to pass, and that the rider can make such a big difference and makes a bigger difference in the performance of what happens that day, because you can move on the bike. And you can change trajectory and you can change lines much easier. You can race next to each other, in the smaller classes like Moto3. You gave the example of me winning the 250 and the 500 championship in the same year. Excuse me. That would be like winning the Moto2 and MotoGP in today's
It's insane.
Championship. Yeah, it's insane. But the rider can make such a big difference. And, that's what I think separates us from some of the other, certainly the other elite motorsports. And basically that's what MotoGP is. MotoGP is to motorcycles what Formula One is to car racing.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, the second I found the sport, because I'd always been, I wanted to ride a motorcycle my whole life, but, my parents, I had a dentist and my mom's a nurse, so it was just like, no.
Right.
Because I remember that there was a motorcycle came out, the Honda Rebel, and it was like $1,200. I still remember the song on the commercial, and I wanted to get it, and they were just like, nope. So about, I don't know, a little over 10 years ago, I just wanted to get my motorcycle license, and I took the motorcycle safety course out here. And then I got a little Triumph Bonneville or whatever, but I was just sort of riding scared, so I got rid of it. And I was just like, all right, I'm not doing the motorcycle thing. And what got me back into it was I went to the MotoGP race at Coda a couple years ago.
Right.
With my buddy Dean Del Rey, and he knew some people at Ducati, and they call something like the Heroes Lap or something. It's a bunch of dads on a Saturday. After that little sprint race, you get to go around the track once. So I'm like all nervous out there. And my idea was I was going to hang at the back.
Right.
And the guy in the front goes, no, dude. He goes, ride in the front. Don't go in the back. The guys that hang in the back want to wait till everybody goes and then race around the track. So I I was able to negotiate that, and then it's in my blood, man. It's weird because I haven't ridden a lot, but I've wanted to, and I love machines and stuff.
One of the things that I've heard you say, that the reason you like riding your motorcycle is when you get on it, you can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is so true. And one of the great things that I've said this many times, and kind of getting in this part of it a little bit, is the best meditation I ever had as a kid is I rode 5 hours a day in my yard, and that's where I learned to ride a motorcycle, and through the trees in my yard. And I would have to focus so intensely. And I talk about this in my book Feel, that came out in the UK a couple of years ago. And in fact, we're going to be putting it out here in the US market next year, along with the second book that I'm doing. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I talk about in the book is when the leaves in the fall would fall from the trees, that I would focus so intently that I could tell by the color of the leaves whether it was wet under it or not, and that would determine how much lean angle I would use going over the line and the trajectory.
Isn't that something? So that's like it's almost like Wayne Gretzky had like his own hockey rink out in his backyard, and he ended up
exactly. I learned to just ride through where I could judge the slippage of the tires over the leaves, depending on the color of the leaves, if it was wet or not, or slippery, in the lean angle and trajectory. And that's what I used to learn. And it taught me, my senses became so aware, of what I feel through the bars and sitting on the bike and what you see. And those are all things that, like I said, if we went out and rode together, that I could help you to understand how to ride so much more relaxed. There's no greater feeling, Bill, when you ride, and I know you have felt this a little bit, I can already believe this, is that there's no better feeling than that feeling of comfort and contentment that you get. Yeah. Right? And
I can like really get into the turn. I mean, obviously not at your guys' level, but like now that I can, if it's a tight turn, I used to, because it's a big bike, so I would I would be so like, that whole thing, like you look at the thing you don't want to hit and then you hit it, like I don't want to go over there, and then that's where you go. Like I've really learned how to look my way through the turn, through like riding through canyons and stuff.
Right.
And say something that I've learned with my experience with machines. And I have a pilot's license, and I'm rated with certain helicopters. And what I learned really early on is, just because I'm rated in what I fly, if you fly the exact same model that I fly, it's going to behave a little different. And each one has like,
its own characteristics.
You have to surrender yourself to the machine and ask it questions to see where it wants to be. And I think that there's a humbleness and a devoid of ego. If you really want to excel at becoming one with a machine or anything, you have to like sort of surrender yourself to it. And like, I'm not going to force this thing to do what I think I know it wants to do.
Right. It's the whole key is being able to let the bike do its job, and you help guide it. And those are the things, like I said, I learned in my yard as a kid is the ability to be able to judge what happens here and how it affects what happens out here, which is life lessons.
Do you feel that riding over wet leaves or just being on a wet track? I would think the leaves, because at least the asphalt is like stuck to the ground, where a leaf can move. Your ability to not only judge those leaves, but to get one with the bike to go over different kinds of leaves. I imagine if you were on a wet track, it was like, oh, this is like T-ball compared to wet leaves.
Easy. It was easy. I won so many Grand Prix in the wet. When I got to the Grand Prix level, I raced in the World Championships for 12 years. I mean, I could slide a bike around and anticipate it within inches of the edge of the track, at 110, 120 miles an hour from 50 feet. Easy.
You must have been the only guy praying for rain.
Well, I didn't like racing in the wet so much, but I was good at doing it. It was one of those things. I much prefer a dry track, but
Well, I have to tell you, look, watching your highlights, getting ready for this interview, and I've noticed with like F1, anything like prior to the year 2000, any sort of racing, stock car, anything, you just watch the sound of it. It's just different. And I like my stomach was in knots. It's like somebody's going to die. Like this is like, and just watching you guys, like you just had like these riding leathers and bales of hay.
Yes.
You know, like you're out in front of Arnold's on Happy Days. You know, you're going to do some little jump. It's like these guys are going like almost 200 miles an hour, whatever the bikes did back then. And there was such a sound to the engines. Like it really sounded death-defying, where now it sounds, I still love it, but like today's motorcycle and F1, as loud as it is and everything, it's more music. It feels more in harmony, where it really sounded like you guys were at the limit back in the day.
Right. There was a rawness to it, and certainly in whether it's cars or motorcycles in that era. Also, you have to understand, Bill, that we were running different engine types. Our bikes were two strokes, which had more of a high pitch sound to them.
Well, it's firing every time the piston goes up, right?
Exactly. And so they were a lot more abrupt. I mean, it was visually more abrupt, where now, especially with the modern bikes and the electronics that they have, you know, on the bikes, they're more what we call linear in their performance. And so, you know, they're smoother. And they don't seem like they're certainly not moving around the same. I mean, the best way to think about it for your audience would be is with electronics, it's like having an AI on the bike, to where it actually can work with the rider and help smooth out the rider's inefficiencies. Where in my day, everything was done with your throttle hand. And so, and your hand control, and you basically, and your telemetry was your brain.
It's like you were doing it.
You were doing it yourself. You anticipated everything, was anticipation and anticipating that. And that's why I say that what I had learned in my yard as a kid, it benefited me to where when I got on bikes that were that powerful and that fast. And in 1985, our top speeds were 200 miles an hour, you know, so yeah, they were definitely fast.
You know, one of my favorite things to do when I fly with my instructor, helicopter, he shuts the governor off. So now you got to keep the RPMs in the green. And at first, it's really a lot of work. And after a while, you're not necessarily looking at the gauge as much as you start listening to the engine. And I feel like that's one of my favorite, you know, sort of emergency what if you lose your governor? It's one of my favorite things to do, because it you know, there's that thing where the governor's on and it's like I'm shutting off that part of my brain, and there's a disconnect to what I'm doing. And, you know, I'm up there. I need to be listening to the engine. Obviously, if I hear something weird, I you know, definitely start looking to put it in a spot if I have to. But like, there's something about those. And my instructor, when he first started out, the helicopter that he flew had no governor. So the whole time, and I feel like he's the best pilot I ever flew with, like as far as a helicopter. And I think because of that background of no governor and having to be that aware of the engine and understanding what it, you can actually keep it in from yawing by increasing or decreasing. And I just feel like that goes back to you in the backyard riding on the wet leaves is governor off compared to like, oh my God, now I'm on asphalt and this is wet. I know exactly my one thing though, like that year in 1985, I'm assuming to go from a 250 to a 500 it's literally twice as much power. So it's almost like for like drumming, it would be like you're playing a little jazz bebop kit. Right. And then all of a sudden it's like, all right, now go out here with like, you know, like Slayer and get behind this double bass kit. And it's a completely different style of music. Like, how were you, was there any sort of mental thing that you went in that it's like, okay, like, all right, it's like speaking two different languages. Like now I got to switch my brain over to this. And did it take you a couple of laps to be like, whoa, whoa?
Yes, I would. The thing is, you're exactly right. Two different motorcycles, two different speeds, two different lines, through the corners, and the same thing as far as the power and the rear tire and the spinning of the bike, and so the speed difference and the closure rate is what I would have to adjust to between the two different bikes, and I would give myself one lap, basically one lap to make the adjustment, which was the siding lap, and then you had the warm-up lap. And so, that really was what my job was. I had such a great crew. I was sponsored by Honda. I rode for Mr. Honda, won his first 500 championship in
You put them
1983.
on the map, right?
Yeah,
Before you came
yeah, but
along.
HRC before it was Repsol Honda, before Mark Marquez and Valentino and Danny Petrosa and the whole group that rode for HRC. I kind of started all that with Honda, and Mr. Honda was at the very end of his involvement in the racing program, and was an incredible man to me.
What did they like? What was Honda saying to you when they had this 20-year-old kid? It was both you guys were like kids in the sport, and you came up and you get on them, and like I'm like thinking about the street bikes that Honda had. They were a lot of like fun, but then they started making like the first super bikes late 60s, early 70s.
Right.
Yeah, so then they kind of like I have like a sort of a bucket list thing I want to do. Is there's some crazy old like vintage Honda motorcycle or Suzuki and Kawasaki thing in Tokyo in December every year. And it's a bucket list. My lovely wife wants to go to Tokyo anyway, but I just want to go down there and just look at those bikes, because those were the first bikes I wanted when I was. Harley scared me because, back in the day, Harley Davidson, that was a whole outlaw. Like those guys looked like that was a little boy. So they looked like mean people. I didn't want to be near them. But like when I saw like the Hondas and all of those, I fell in love. Those were the bikes I fell in love with. And so anyways, getting back to that. So like around 79, 80, you started riding with them. Like
That's
when
right.
you started winning races, did Mr. Honda ever take you aside and just be like, or just in any way express like, I can't believe we came together, like I
Absolutely
somehow have this prodigy?
Well, one of the things that he saw me with another gentleman, Mr. Irimajiri, who he created the Civic and all the cars, the Accord and the cars that you see. He started out as an engineer in the racing team, and then he created the company called Honda Racing Corporation, which actually built the Formula One engines that you see in the Red Bull cars today. So HRC is not only a motorcycle division in Honda, but it also is involved in the car racing. But when they started this company, that's when the influence of racing really had started having the knockdown effect on the motorcycles that you see and the bikes that you ride, that you rode in the 80s or the 90s or.
No, I never rode back then. I
Right.
wanted to.
You wanted to, but anybody who rode during that period, there was a lot of influence of the racing that came down into the sport bikes, and that's why racing is such a integral part of what is involved with motorcycling. And it's had such a big influence in my existence. It's one of the reasons why I've stayed involved so long. One of the things, Bill, I wanted to say before we got too far into this was listening to your podcast, your Monday morning podcast. I've listened to it in your Thursday show many times in a hotel room after a long day at the Grand Prix circuit, because I was chairman of the stewards panel. So you've talked about incidents that I have called before, like the incident last year between Alex Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia, and you were wondering, about the incident, and it looked like that they came together and there was no call. I called it a race incident. The reason why is because we look at trajectory and we have high-speed cameras.
Oh.
We have high-speed cameras. And so I look at it from 3 or 4 different angles, and so for you, next time you're watching a MotoGP race and the team of stewards that are in the Grand Prix now, I hired all those guys. All those guys are what I brought on to the team. I stopped doing it at the end
Oh
of
my
24. But I would be listening to the podcast and I'd be going, and you'd be asking about, well, I wonder why, this, and I would be saying, I could explain it to you,
Well, you know
So-
what? I just realized that I'm looking at it in a very two-dimensional way. I have like a
Right.
sky view. I'm not looking at the race angle that they're taking.
Right.
So I just realized I
Right.
need to shut up about all of those things. I should just listen to you guys because
it was cool. It was cool because it was great that you were watching it, and you're such an enthusiast.
I will tell you. Can I tell you the craziest thing I've seen in the 9 years I've been watching?
Right.
And MotoGP was I don't know what track they were at, but it was this long straightaway where they get up to like 210, 213 miles an hour. And then there was a hard right turn.
Okay.
And there was this whole like open field on the side. So I guess they never anticipated people on the straightaway colliding. Somehow these two guys, as the leaders, were just about ready to go into that right turn. Two people collided. They fell off their motorcycles, and these motorcycles started cartwheeling down the grass towards
I know.
the turn.
I was out there, and I had to call that incident. I'm the one that penalized Franco Morbidelli. Yeah, that was Maverick Vinales and Valentino Rossi, who was coming through the corner.
And this bike, like with the engine hanging off,
Yeah,
as they were coming around, it went right in between them.
Right. The chances, Bill, of the two bikes going through in between Maverick Vinales and Valentino and not hitting them it was
1 in a million.
Divine intervention is the only way I can say it. We were watching it and I couldn't believe what we were watching. And it was Johan Zarco and Franco Morbidelli who got together. And so I had to give starting from pit lane to Johan Zarco for the incident because he basically it was pretty much a racing incident, but because of the speed and the kink of the corner there, not considering the fact of being the right-hander right at the end, it's why we changed the track design after this incident for the next year for the Spielberg. It was in Spielberg, Austria in August is where you saw that.
Thank God nobody had to die because I knew I was going like, there's no way. They're looking at all the tracks now to see if that could possibly that's the closest I saw. Thank God nothing happened. But I always wondered, like, for Valentino Rossi, who else was the other guy that it just missed?
Maverick Vinales.
Like what it was like, your heart.
Maverick was in front. And so he didn't get to see the bikes come through in between them.
Yeah.
But it was Valentino who saw the bike. Saw the bike like cross right in front of his bike.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's not something you would
like the balls to be like, okay, start racing again, and be like,
yeah. Yeah. But that was a tough incident because the thing is, it's such an emotional, everybody at that level, they're so driven. And, the team, as the steward, and I was chairman of the stewards. And so basically I would deal with each one of those incidents, like that situation where I brought Johan Zarco and Franco Morbidelli in, and they were both, one of them had one opinion, they always different opinions.
It's just like out in the street, if the little fender bender, he came out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's going, well, what was I supposed to do? And of course, there was no issue with Valentino or Maverick. But so it was just between those two and who caused the crash and basically how it could be avoided. And there's so much, where you're looking at it, where it's perception of the incident, where you're looking at it objectively. And you obviously, it's not about personalities. And, that's why being a steward or even a referee, you see referee, games, it's extremely difficult because what you can see, you make half the people happy. And most time, no one's, happy with
Do you feel
decisions.
that being that former racers are make better stewards because they understand
Absolutely.
it?
Absolutely. It's one of the things that you see in Formula One. They
Mhm.
have the same thing. They have stewards. They don't have permanent stewards. In fact, Liberty Media, who owns Formula One now, one of the things they just bought the controlling interest in MotoGP, and that deal just went through.
A lot of
And
people
so,
were upset by that. What do they think's going to happen?
well, I think what they were concerned about it, trying to make it too much like Formula One. You know, our sport is very passion driven. It's very fan driven. It's very passionate. It's affordable, and you know that's very important that they keep that in mind.
I'll tell you this:
I,
as long as the passing continues,
right,
that's you're watching racing for that. That's
right.
what you're watching. And if it gets to a point where I don't know, everything's too equal and then people can't overtake anybody, it's just like, well, I'm just watching like a 200-mile-an-hour parade lap.
Right. It's
Um,
one of the reasons why the technical rules for 2027 is changing. And you know, not to get too technical, but you know,
I'm
with
not. I don't know
aerodynamics.
what that is. What is that rule?
Well, the technical rules are changing for 2027 in MotoGP, where they're lowering the displacement, they're taking away some of the aerodynamics, taking away some of the electronics to give even more control back to the riders, to where it'll make the racing even better.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
for everybody out there who likes MotoGP, it's going to get even better. And everybody who hadn't seen it, they should, because it is exciting to watch, as you know.
I get a question. Have you watched that bagger racing that they have?
Yes,
How much
yes,
fun is
I'm
that?
involved. I'm in, I'm involved with the BTR program called Build Trade Race, and with Royal Enfield, and so we go to some of the Moto America races, and that's here in the United States. And the baggers they run there. When you came to MotoGP, were they running the baggers as a
No, they
support
did.
race?
It was only well, let's see. I mean, I went to the sprint race on Saturday, and then we all the dads went out there and did a lap, and then the next day we saw, oh boy, we saw the actual race the next day. Dude, you're just like me. You know what I mean? I'm good at comedy. I'm terrible at technology. I hope someday I can be as good a comedian as you are a motorcycle rider.
Well,
Um,
I think that you definitely are. You know.
uh, I appreciate that. Here's something that I think fans would like. I know this really interests me, that like that year in '85 when you were basically starting in two sports at the same time, dominating both, winning the championship. There was a price to pay. That you had wrist issues and all of that. I mean, I can't imagine. I know the toll, like sometimes when they talk about today's racing, the amount of weight
Yes.
they lose, the calories, the G forces and stuff. The fact that you would race the 250 and then the 500 the same day. I mean, like, what sort of fluids did you have to take in the middle? And then can you just talk about the body breaking down and what your
Well,
thoughts were? Was it worth it?
well, I've been asked that question many times, because it'd be like playing two football games back to back, and you can imagine, everybody out there can imagine the toll that it would take on the body, just putting under that stress, back to back games, back to back races were the same thing. And it certainly exacerbated the risk problems that I was starting to develop. The carpal tunnel, it was called. This was before carpal tunnel was really even well known that much.
Right.
And I had some tendon issues, and so I had some surgeries, and then I had some neck issues from an accident that I had. And it all kind of came together, and I think doing the two championships made it worse, and certainly made it to where it wore out my wrist, and that's what happens. Just things get worn out, you know, with knee problems or wrist problems, and that's what I developed. I do not regret doing the two championships, because for me, Bill, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and
Yeah.
and certainly certainly doing both championships allowed me to do something that other people had tried, but they couldn't be successful at.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is like there's a few things that I feel like will never be broken, and that is one of them. Like nobody's gonna I don't even think no one's gonna put their body through that. No one's gonna attempt it, and certainly I don't think there's anybody out there that could ride 2 full seasons at the same time, 2 different bikes, and win the championship. I mean, I actually think, I'm going to start bringing that up in sports arguments when people talk about like Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak or the Bulls winning 72 games. I'm going to be like, fucking Freddie Spencer, 1985, basically was playing 2 football games on the same day, 2 different classes, but he was doing it on a motorcycle at 200 miles an hour. It's really like,
I appreciate that.
For you to be like, as like a genius or rider you are, and still to be so like, because I had no idea how you were going to be like this down to earth and still have this amount of passion and say like, you'd like to teach me how to ride if I was,
I would.
Oh my God,
I'll make
dude.
you a deal. You take me for a ride in your helicopter and I'll help you.
Done.
I'm serious.
Done. I am too. Next time you're in LA, you let me know.
Absolutely.
100%. And then I got, where my airport is, it's a little bit of a ride into the canyons. Then once you get in the canyons, or we can just do something at the airport,
Yeah. We don't need much room, but I could just help you to just navigate how to use the brakes better, how to use your body better, hand position, just real basic things that will totally change your riding experience. It's one of the things that I'm most proud of, Bill, is after I retired from racing in 1995, I went and started my own riding school, and I did that for 11 years, and I had over 6,000 people that came to my school. And
you saved a lot of lives too.
Well, that was one of the things, I wasn't teaching about speed. I was teaching about how to work with the motorcycle, how to ride and become a better and safer rider. And in turn, you're going to enjoy it and to be able to do that. That was my goal. That's what I wanted to do, was to help people to understand how to become better riders for themselves and to be safer riders.
Well, that was the only thing that I read in the 15-page thing they gave me that disappointed me, was that your school, because I saw the school, was like, I'm going to that. I am definitely going to that. So,
well, that's Keanu Reeves and I became good friends. After he did The Matrix, he came to my school and he spent 2 weeks there and rode in 3 schools. And I taught him how to drag his knee. And Lyle Lovett's been to my school many times. He's another good friend.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. So like I said, I look forward to it. I definitely look forward to us getting together.
Yeah, I don't think I know a lot of people think Keanu Reeves is cool. I don't think they even understand how cool that guy is. He's like, he's super
great. He has a race team in Moto America Racing as we speak, and so I see him all the time. And it's one of the things, he has a company called Arch, his own bike. But when he came to my school, that's what kind of really got him hooked on motorcycling. And so he credits that to one thing that inspired him one day to start his own motorcycle company, which is called Arch. And
a long time ago, I went down to his place and I saw all of those bikes. They're gorgeous, gorgeous bikes. But
yeah, they
are.
The
good thing about me is I'm not a speed guy. I like watching guys like you do it. I got the, the road glide. I like a nice Cadillac ride. I'm out there to smell the smells, go around some turns. I even, what's funny is when I ride the canyons, I do it during the week, because on the weekend is all those Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift kids. And I'm just like, you guys do all that. I don't have any, the other day I was riding through this canyon, and what was funny was this guy just like passed me like I was standing still, and he looked like he was an Uber Eats guy. And I have like a twin. I think it was a single piston. He was just so much better at riding, and it's like he was riding like a Moto 3, and dude, he went like by me. It was embarrassing. But what I like about being an older rider is I was able to laugh at myself, and I didn't get into, I gotta show him I got a more powerful bike. I'm like, dude, that's all you. And he just, it was like a cartoon. He just went like, and he just was gone. So anyway, let's, I wish your book was coming out now. If it isn't, when it comes out again, if you want to come back on and promote your book, I mean, I'm going to read it cover to cover. And, there's a lot of, sports fans that listen to this podcast. And I got to tell you, man, that 1985 season, I'm putting that up there. 27 Yankees.
Well, that's very kind of you, Bill. I appreciate
96 Bulls and Freddie Spencer, 1985. It should be there, dude. And because for all of those guys doing what they did in sports, they, you couldn't die doing it, I do have to ask you without telling them a morbid story. I don't want to know about anybody dying. What is the craziest thing that you saw, like you were like a racing incident? Like when I'm talking about like that bike I was saying just went flying down the track and barely missed two guys in your bale of hay riding leathers years. What's the craziest thing you saw?
Well, the incident that you mentioned that happened while I was a steward that I had to make the call on at Spielberg is probably the most hair-raising incident that I've ever seen, because of the speed and the actual incident itself and the margin of error and no one getting hurt. And so that would have been
gruesome too. Somebody getting hit with an engine and a bike frame at 200 miles an hour. That would have been.
Yeah, for me, I've had a couple of accidents, to where, I was going, crashing at high speed and basically going toward a hay bale or guardrail, and you don't know exactly what's going to happen.
What do you do? You just relax? What do you try to do?
And that's the thing about it, that is so, your mind is so strong in its ability and in the training aspect of it. And it's one of the things that I think separate all athletes and all athletes at great levels, and you certainly see in motorsports, is the mind's ability to be so far ahead of what's happening and its survival mode. Mm-hmm. And it's just, you have to relax, and that's what allows you to get through the incident.
All right, one more.
I've had a couple, close calls. You can imagine 29 years of racing and racing at the very elite level, and all the years of coming through. I never got injured until I got to Grand Prix racing. I raced for 14 years, 40 weekends a year. My dad and I would travel around the United States, and was fortunate never to have an injury, never break a bone racing.
Did you have a, I obviously, you rather have it slide out from underneath you than high side it. Did you have any sort of technique when you high side? I just feel like it's like you get shot off a catapult.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's like nothing you can. Is there anything that is better to protect, or you're just praying?
Well, I call it that moment of airtime and silence before impact. And it's something you want to avoid. But a high side and going over the top side, as you said, a low side, which you see more of today, and that's where the electronics, the safety of the bikes have gotten, in that respect, so much better, because the bike stops spinning, the electronics, and so it can react faster than you can. When in the old days, where we would have to get back the throttle at the right moment as the rear tires breaking traction, and to prevent it from being too violent of a high side.
When you're in the air and that silence,
right?
Do you have time to think anything? Are you like, oh shit?
Well, everything slows down.
Golly,
that's the thing about it, is everything slows down. And you remember everything. I still can close my eyes and remember every incident. And basically, from whether it's 40 years ago or 50 years ago, it's like listening to any older athlete, like Jack Nicklaus talked about hitting a 2-iron at Marion in 1967. I think that is one of the great things about sports in particular, but especially motorcycling. And that's why when I heard you say on the podcast one time not too long ago about when you get on, you can it's the one thing you can do that clears your mind, and it's certainly the case.
Well, let me, I got so many I want to ask you. What is a championship motorcycle racer goes to bed at night? and your dreams. Did you dream about riding? Did you have a reoccurring nightmare? Did you have a dream? Do you dreaming about what I want to do the next day? Like, what do you guys, someone like you, when you go to bed at night,
Right.
was there ever an incident that happened where you said had a couple close calls? Did you have nightmares about it? Were you able to like let it go?
I think one of the things for me when I would dream about racing, I could literally feel the movements of the motorcycle in my dreams and sense what was happening. If I had a crash, certainly I've thought about it before. Years later, think about it. I talk about one story in my book, A Crash that I had in Mazzano in 1987 on August 30th, 1987. And I can still remember the impact and then the crash. And then afterwards, I had an experience. And it was the most peaceful moment that I had. And I could hear my name being called in the distance. And it was the doctor waking me up when I was in the medical center because it had knocked me out. And
oh, wow. So you were sort of unconscious but conscious?
Right.
Or coming out of it? Oh, my God.
Yeah, coming out of, yeah.
So did you have any, like people have dreams, there's a monster coming and they can't run. Did you have any dreams of like you're going into a turn, you just can't turn it? Or did you have more just visceral dreams of like...
No, I probably yeah, you could probably think this is correct. I actually would dream that I was late putting my leathers on and getting to the starting line,
Dude, I used to have dreams of bombing on talk shows or going out and forgetting my act.
Right.
I'll tell you the funniest one I had. I had one time I was on Letterman and I was bombing and I looked over and my dad was sitting behind the desk just shaking his head at me. And I'm like, well, this is Psych 101. David Letterman's the father figure I want to impress. I want to have a good set. That's so amazing. Freddie, we got to hang. I'm going to take you for a flight and you got to teach me how to become a more confident
Absolutely.
rider.
I look forward to it.
All right. Well, this was like, I was so nervous about this podcast because I have such a respect for what you guys do. And it's such an art form. It's the most gorgeous racing sport, the colors, the movement, the way everybody goes in. And I can't say enough about this sport. I absolutely love it. So we're definitely going to hang, but also when your book comes out, dude, you got to come back on this and we're going to promote the hell out of it.
Well, one thing I can tell you that we're already working on with the field book, we're already working on a screenplay for a film. So that with Mike Talon and MJ, which I know you're
all right.
aware
Can I
of.
play the guy in the pit yelling at the screen like, Freddie, you got to slow down?
Yeah, or go faster. You could be holding the pit board. And
the bike can't do what you're asking it to do.
Yeah, exactly. You pick up the pace here, but
Then of course you do what I didn't think the bike could do, and then I'm like, well, I'll be a son of a bitch. And there's your movie right there. We got a beat sheet. Let's go sell it. All right, that's it, everybody. That's the Thursday afternoon, just before Friday, Monday morning podcast. I cannot thank you enough, Mr. Spencer. That's the respect I got for you. You are an absolute legend, and I look forward to reading your book, and I look forward to us hopefully hanging out one time. That's it, everybody. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and I'll see you on Monday. Are you filming? Are you just taking a picture? What are we doing? What are you doing? Picture. Oh, picture. Okay. I always get paranoid. All right, we're going? All right. Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, December 11th, 2017. What's going on? How are you? It's the Christmas season, everybody. Merry Christmas to everybody. I know you're not supposed to say that anymore. I don't know why. If somebody said Happy Hanukkah to me, I wouldn't be like, go fuck yourself. I'm Christian. I'm not even Christian. I don't even go to church. I just like saying Merry Christmas. It puts a little song in my heart. But in this gift-giving time of the year, the gift that we have today is a very special guest. Came in all the way from New York, the wonderfully talented, with a brand new special called Naive Innocence that you can get on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, YouPorn, right?
You porn? No.
No. Okay. Please welcome Harris Stanton, everybody, to the program.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, there should have been applause there, but we don't have the sound effects.
I have porn in my album.
Do you know I'm trying to go? I'm trying to go the month of December. No porn, no booze.
Why?
No, nothing. Because I think it fucks you up.
It does. It does. If I didn't get up so late and had to be here at 1, I would have jerked off before I came here. But I realized I didn't have enough time to get into it the way I wanted to.
Jesus, what are you fucking become a character or something?
No, I watched that Flair documentary he was talking about, and the guy asked him how many times a day do he jerk off. He goes twice. I was like, that's about what I do.
Ric Flair said that?
Yeah, you saw the documentary.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, he went to a sports psychologist, and the guy was like, so how many times a day you jerk off? He goes twice. How much do you drink? He goes, I have 10 beers and 5 vodkas.
That part I remembered.
Yeah. Well, he said that before. He said the jerking off stuff before that. And he goes,
okay.
He goes, every day. Every day. He said, how long you been doing that? Oh, it's 1982. I started in 72. It goes about 20 years, 10 years. He said, that's impossible. He said, it's been a week with me.
Yeah. I like when they
Flair.
said, they were like, your first wife, how long were you faithful to her? And he was like, about a day.
Yeah.
And they go, really? He goes, I couldn't do it.
Right.
I couldn't do it.
Right.
I came home, and he goes, I was bored. I just wanted, to see a guy.
It was great.
To actually just say how fucking bored he is being married. Because, anytime you have a thought of just any sort of, resentment of your situation that you fucking created.
Right, exactly.
You didn't have to say, I do. You didn't have to do
Exactly.
all that, but you created it. You have that feeling of, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this. You have, that guilt. I loved his complete lack of guilt.
Yes.
Or honesty, I should say.
Honesty, yeah.
Honesty.
Like, why do you tell the girls, why do you say, scream out your hotel? I don't know. Why don't you wear your ring? I don't know. No one ever comes to the hotel. They all come to the hotel.
I like that one where he was in the middle of nowhere and there was no party when he went back to the hotel.
He created one.
They just created one. Bought 100 kamikazes and then he's dancing on the bar. It's just like,
woo!
Yeah. Dude, you just blew out my fucking
Oh,
ears.
sorry.
Jesus. Let me turn this down here. Speaking of
My
woo!
Ric Flair impression.
Yeah, man, you got to go away from the mic.
Woo! Like that. All right.
There you go. Speaking of honesty, tell me about your special. And I also like how you're doing it like you basically went where all the specials end up anyways. And so you just bypassed all the networks. It's just like someone's going to steal this and rip it anyways, or whatever the kids say. What, you just shot it yourself?
No, it's Bill, for the 5th time, it's an album.
What is it? Oh, it's an album. Oh,
Yeah.
It's a CD.
Yeah, well, it's not a CD. It's just digital, I guess. And I have drop cards that I sell after my shows and stuff.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of interviews, and I'm not a good listener. So
No,
here we go. Bill, for the last time, I'm here about a benefit. When's your special come out? I just assume it's a comedian. It's got to be a special.
Yeah, no, I filmed it at Gotham Comedy Club Memorial Day weekend.
Well, how do you film an album?
Well, you're right. I recorded it at Gotham Comedy
All
Club
right.
Memorial Day weekend. And it's on all the little media platforms.
All right.
45-minute album.
I have to
It's my
ask you the
first one.
white guy question here. You're wearing a Phillies hat. All right. Now, I've learned this with black people. That doesn't mean you're a fan. Do you have on maroon sneakers, or do you really like the Phillies?
I just like the hat.
Oh, you just like the hat.
Yeah, but I'm a Toronto Blue Jays fan. You might see me wearing a few different Toronto Blue Jays hats.
And you have a baseball background, correct?
Yes. I was
I
drafted
believe-
by the Chicago Cubs.
That's right. You were a right fielder, I believe?
In the 56th round, which they don't have that round anymore.
You were drafted in the 56th round, and the scouting report on you was you could go deep, but you couldn't hit a curveball.
Yes. So
What did you do to try to work on, other than just guessing? What did you do when you stepped up to plate to try to get? Because there's no fucking way I could ever hit a curveball.
Well,
ever.
I was always hunting the fastball, which is probably not a great. Well, that's what a lot of hitters do. You're supposed to adjust, but I think it was mental after a while. I wish I knew about sports psychology when I was playing. I would have went to one because it was totally mental.
You had a mental, like Charles Barkley's golf swing, where he
Yeah.
has to stop and then keep
Or like
going.
John Lester, who can't throw to first base, but he can throw a pinpoint fastball in the inside corner to a hitter, but he can't throw it to first base to throw somebody out.
Yeah.
He will not throw
No
it.
pitchers can throw. You ever? They all just they fucking throw like I don't know what, like a goddamn gorilla on the
Yeah.
mound. And the second they got to throw it, they throw like a little girl, like oh.
Right. Or I don't know if you remember Chuck Knobloch. He played for the.
Yep.
He was a Gold Glove second baseman. All of a sudden, he couldn't catch anything.
No, he couldn't throw.
He couldn't throw. What still?
Yeah, he threw it. Yeah, he threw. It was like
Still.
hitting people in like
Yeah.
the fifth row.
Yeah.
Steve Sachs was the first guy. Was that the guy? Yeah, the yips.
Yeah.
Is what they call
it's all mental because you was doing it your whole life until now.
So did you ever hit the curveball?
Yeah, I've hit a few curveballs. Bad ones, the ones that don't break that much.
Oh, okay.
But a good one. Not too many people hit a good one anyway. You're not gonna hit if Clayton Kershaw puts a good one on the out. You're not touching it.
Who's the anybody you ever go up against made it in the big leagues?
Yeah, Orlando Hudson. He's the only.
How'd
star.
you do against him?
Well, he didn't pitch. He was a player. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a player. No, Jacob Shoemake. He got drafted first round by by Atlanta Braves, and he didn't make it. He got a $500,000 signing bonus. And
so you did all that Bull Durham shit, riding around in buses and all that?
No, I didn't make it that far. I was released at spring training.
Wait, so when you get drafted by the Cubs, they saw you at high school? Like where
They
did they
saw
see?
me in high school, and then they actually can. Scouts can actually help you get into schools. They call other schools and go, "We like this guy." Matter of fact, I got recruited by NC State from a scout. They call schools and they, hey, get this guy. We're gonna look at him. And then you go to the school, and then after your first season, they either pick you up or because I was a draft and follow.
So there's just nonstop pressure.
Yes.
So every time. So then it's already bad enough if you're in your head, if you're in a slump.
Yes.
Now it's just like, fuck, I'm not going to get picked up next year.
Yes.
My dream is going to die. So all these other kids are walking around going to keg parties, going, Mom, send more money. And you're literally going, my dream's fucking dying.
Right, exactly. Most people who don't know baseball, it's just extremely competitive and hard to play. That's why there's a minor leagues. There's no minor leagues but there is a little bit for football now. But there's no minor leagues for basketball and football. You just go right to the pros. But baseball, you need constant work from rookie ball all the way to AAA. Rookie ball is not even A ball yet.
Is that because the game's that hard?
It's really that hard, yeah. You mean you ever seen a 97-mile-an-hour fastball coming at you?
I like those people that go down to the batting cages and they just set it on 90 and they know what the pitch is and they keep going, dude, I was hitting it. I was catching up with it. It's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, now let's actually put a brain behind that fucking machine that has two other pitches.
Exactly.
And there's a million people watching.
Right. Fastball is actually easy to hit. It's the other stuff, slider, curveball. You don't know what's coming. Sometimes if the pitch is good enough.
Can you please, what exactly is a slider?
It's a
what
ball.
Does it do?
It's a ball that slides to the left or slides to the right.
That's it?
And yeah.
That's not a curveball. Curveball drops off the table.
Curveball drops off the table, yeah.
That's a slider.
They call it 12-6 where it really drops from 12 to 6. That's a bat. Kershaw has a 12 to 6. Some people just have a little loop, but a slider is and a cutter is a fastball that at the last minute darts to the left, which goes into your the handle part and you break your bat. Like Mariano had the greatest cutter. And it would just
Why can't they just guess and just going, I know he's coming with the cutter and just guess
because
and
even if
swing
you
a
hit
little
it,
left?
If it was that easy, I don't know, man.
I met a guy one time who
you got split second to.
He used to play for the Giants, and he owned fucking Tim Wakefield, who was a knuckleball pitcher. And he goes, this is a visual here, but basically he'd go like, well, basically his pitch did this, and he would make all these crazy movements with his hand, and then go, it either went here or da-da-da-da-da-da-da there.
Yeah, knuckleball is crazy.
He would just guess. He would go, all right, I'm going to just swing here on this one, or I'm going to swing there. And I'm ignoring all of this bullshit between me and him, and he actually was successful doing that.
Yeah.
I remember the Yankees one year were just looking at tape against Wakefield, and they realized that most of his knuckleballs were balls. So they go, well, just don't fucking swing at it. And then he started getting behind in the count. I think that's when he had to, like, every once in a while throw, like, his idea of, like, a fastball.
Right.
But I always felt if I was going to get to the big leagues, like, that's the way to, if you could somehow develop a knuckleball, because then you're not going to blow out your arm.
Right.
You can throw, like, 26 pitches, like, crazy like Johnson.
Yeah, you could pitch to
in
60.
the early 1900s. Yeah. What do you think? I know we're not. I love sports. Who gives a fuck? We know you're funny. Let's talk sports here.
Yeah.
How do you look at those early 1900s, specials? Not specials. The fucking records that people.
In baseball?
Yeah, like when somebody, he pitched 93 innings in 2 days. That'll never be broken.
Right.
The Home Depot League is what I call it.
Well, today's baseball is different because it's the training, it's the preparation. Like those guys, they just played. Like now they coddle the players, the pitchers. Like they only go 6 innings now, really.
Yeah, they're like veal.
Yeah, like back in the day, they planned to go 9. And now they go, you go 6 and some 5. And that means your bullpen has to be very good. You know, if you don't have a great bullpen, I've even heard talk of which is blasphemy. I hope they never do it. That just try to you go 3 innings, you go 3 innings. No, you let Clayton Kershaw go as long as he can go, and then you bring in the bullpen. You don't let him go 3 and then let your other guy go 3. I guess.
So do you coach any baseball when you're not doing stand-up?
No. I'm gonna put my son in the league probably next summer.
That's good. You're gonna keep him out of football. At least you didn't pick soccer. I know soccer is gradually taking over.
Yeah. Soccer. No.
You can't do because you know what you're basically saying.
I'm gonna Joe Jackson him in baseball.
You're saying I want my son to be a flopper.
Yeah.
That's basically I think you got to take like a drama class before you play soccer or whatever the fuck they call it overseas, football. My favorite one ever is, people say, why do you call it football? Talking about American football.
Right.
There's somebody, I forget what comedian said this. It was like, well, why do you call it football? Why didn't you call it feetball?
Right.
Using both feet, right? You want to be a clever cunt? There's your clever joke right back at you.
Right.
I actually would rather watch women's soccer than men's soccer just because they just play. They don't do all that fucking flopping around, and it's embarrassing.
Right.
I would literally, if that was my son, I would walk out of the stadium. I would stand up all dramatic, like Glenn Close in The Natural.
Right.
I'd have myself backlit, so he saw me up in the stands, and he'd be all excited that he drew a fucking yellow card, and I would turn my back on him. That'd be it. That'd be the modern day version. You know that story where the guy bricked up the room that the kid was in?
You
hear that? You heard that story?
No, but I watched the ID channel, so I mean. He locked his son. He bricked up his son.
His son was supposed to go to battle, and he fucking chickened out. So the guys came there, and they're like, yeah, your son who you said, it was like the king or some shit. They go, your son who you said was brave, he chickened out. And he's like, bullshit, no son of mine would do that. And they go, yeah, he's right in that room. He goes, I refuse to believe that. And to demonstrate it, I will now have this room sealed off. And he started bricking the room up, and he got all the way up to the last brick. And then the pussy was on the other side, and he went, Father.
No, this is recent?
And then, this happened in Tahunga, in Orange County or something.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, brick it up. And that was it. They put the last brick in, and that was it. The dude died.
No.
They found skeletons with powdered bone. Dude, it wasn't now. It's a fable.
Oh, it's not real.
Yeah. Jesus, how crazy do you think white people are?
Crazy.
How free do you think we are that we can brick our kids up in a
You've done worse.
We actually have.
Shit.
Anyways, Jesus Christ, let's get out of slavery. What else do you want to talk about? The Patrice O'Neal benefits coming up.
Yes, man. Yeah. Excited about that. Like, I always like seeing Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually spoke to her before I came here.
What's your favorite Patrice O'Neal story that you had? You went on the road with him. You did Amsterdam and all of that.
Man, we coming back from Charlie Goodnight's Raleigh Durham.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys, firecrackers is illegal in Boston, right?
Fireworks, yeah.
Fireworks,
You have to go up to New Hampshire.
Yeah. So Patrice said, you're in a hurry to get back in New York. I go, no, what's up? He goes, I never really use fireworks. And I go, okay, well, we stopped by. He spent like $300 on fireworks.
Did he?
Yes. He just put them all in one bag and just rang it up. And he goes, yo, I want to set some of this off. So I go, yeah, I'm from down here. He was in North Carolina. I said, well, I'm from here. So we can just find one of these little abandoned fields. So we did. But it was hot and the grass was dry.
Oh, Jesus.
And we started a forest fire.
Oh, no.
We lit it up. We had just came back from eating, so Patrice had tea. He shouldn't have had tea. And I had a big glass of water or tea. And the fire started getting bigger. But before it got bigger, we tried to stomp it out. So it was just two black dudes.
With what, your tea?
No, we did that. We did the feet first. We both had new sneakers on. Our sneakers were black when we were done because we were trying to stomp this fire out. And then we went and grabbed the tea, and we both poured our tea on the fire that did nothing. And then I said, let's get out of here. He goes, no, we got to. Then the ambulance came, the fire truck came, the owner of the land came in like 10 minutes.
Oh, Patrice, you said let's get out of here. Your own state. You were like, fuck this place.
Yeah,
I live in New York.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
So what happened? They put it out, and what they say?
Put it out, and they were really cool. Patrice was honest. He goes, let me do all the talking, stupid. And and when they got there, he's like, I'm from Boston. I know popped firecrackers before, so we just started to be good. I'm like, oh, it's okay, man. Don't worry about it. I just put some pesticide on this crops, and everything is dry or whatever. And they let us go.
Wow.
They took our statement and let us go.
There you go. Look at that.
But we almost started a forest fire. That shit was going. The field is here, and the forest was like maybe 10 feet from
Why
the
didn't
fire.
you just light it off in a parking lot?
There was no. We was in North Carolina. There's no parking lot.
Yeah, there is. I live there.
Well, not where we were at. We were like off the highway, off the beaten
Well,
path.
fucking do it in a rest area. Scare a couple of pedophiles out of the bathroom.
Yeah, we didn't do that. I guess we would.
Let's put it in this fucking pile of hay.
Oh, dude, it was hilarious. Both our shoes were black from trying to stomp fire. We poured our tea on it.
Where you working these days?
Everywhere. In the city. I'm actually pretty busy. In January, I'm going to Denver, Colorado with Dean Edwards and
Dean Edwards, man, I haven't run into him in a minute.
Yeah.
Where are you guys playing out there?
The Improv. I was at the Funny Bone. The Denver.
Comedy Works?
No, it's the Improv, I think.
Oh, the Improv, okay.
And then after that, I am in where am I? I'm in Myrtle Beach, where I started at Comedy Cabana.
How close is that to the forest fire? Myrtle Beach.
What forest fire? There's forest fires in South Carolina?
No, the one that you fucking started 2 minutes ago.
Oh.
I'm trying to do a callback here.
That was
I'm trying to fucking help you out here.
That was in North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. Where's Myrtle Beach? South Carolina?
South Carolina, yeah.
That's all the fucking same down there.
That's
all
what people
the
say.
goddamn same.
You
You know what I hate? You know what I don't like in the South? The chain Waffle House.
Oh, yeah.
I
used to work in one.
You know what I don't
hated
like? The signage.
The what?
The sign. It's
Oh.
just so, the font is so not exciting, and then it's like piss yellow.
Yeah.
With like the most basic thing, and you get in there, and it's just, I don't know. There's always like either a fight's about to happen or just happened. It's just really
Right.
like.
I worked there 3 years and when I was in high school.
People go there, they seem like they're hiding out. Like, I can't go home because of such and such situation.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy working. I had
How long did you work there for?
3 years off and on when I was
How many
in college.
fights did you see?
I didn't see any fights, but someone after I worked third shift sometime, and when the club let out, these drunk people would come in, and one person went in the bathroom and shit everywhere, all on the walls. So the waitress comes out. She goes, I'm cooking food. She goes, Harris, I need you to clean the bathroom. I go, well, what's going on? Somebody made an accident. I went in there, and it was
an on purpose.
I don't know. It looked like a crime scene with shit. And I said, no, I'm not cleaning that. I don't get paid to clean shit off walls. And
They don't make a mop for that.
No, they don't.
Yeah, call a fucking hazmat group.
Exactly. I refused, and one of them did it. And one lady came in, and she wanted a cheeseburger, and I said, the cheese is 50 cents extra. She goes, 50 cents? Can't you just put it on there? I go, no, lady, I can't just do it. You have to pay for it. And she didn't get the cheese. The next night she came in, she had her own cheese in the plastic, and she said, put that on my burger. Like, you was in a nightclub. This cheese is in your glove compartment for 2 hours. You left your house. You got your purse, your perfume, and your high heels, and your cheese. So when you get to the Waffle House, the cook can put it on your burger because you don't want to pay 50 cents.
Wow.
Hilarious.
That is a level of fucking cheapness. Because that is cheapness. If you're going out to a club and you're going to pay a cover and you're going to do some shit like that, I fucking hate cheap people like that. And also dumb with money.
Yes.
I don't have any sympathy for that. My white guilt only goes so far.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'll white guilt all fucking day long until I watch you get a deal and buy a bunch of dumb shit. Then I'm just like, all right, forget it.
Right.
You know, all kinds of shiny shit. Yeah. Remember that? Remember the age of the deals?
Yeah.
In Montreal Comedy Festival, and everyone would go up there and he'd be like, oh, my dad was crazy and my brother was crazy. And everybody's like, that's a show.
Right.
And then you'd go out and you get a 6-figure deal. Remember all those fucking idiots that went out and they buy flat screen TVs?
Todd Lynn did that. Todd Lynn got a bunch of money.
Todd Lynn, rest in peace, literally did, and I refused to believe it until Dean Edwards fucking confirmed it, did the Coming to America thing where he fixed up a place he was renting.
Mm-hmm.
He even redid the fucking floors.
He
showed his landlord. She raised the rent, and he had to leave after a while.
Yep. He bought a bunch. He bought 2 cars. He
bought that gold Lexus. He had the Jesus.
It was
piece.
it was an Infinity. And he
had a waist length mink with a hoodie on it, zip up, and he would be on stage talking about white people.
Right. He must have been.
Just like this guy. You could be as white as fucking ever. No, you're never going to keep money if you do that.
Right. He must have spent $20,000 on whores. It was hilarious.
Oh, I feel bad going. We can't go that far. He's not alive to defend himself.
Right,
but if he was, if he's listening,
he would say
the spirit of him.
Yeah.
Do you think in the afterlife both his arms worked?
I thought we weren't doing anything.
Jesus.
Oh my God! You know what's funny? Ty would have that arm, and people were still afraid of him. Like, what the fuck are you afraid?
Because he had the mean mug face. I used to always tease him about his Roman nose.
Yeah.
He had like a Julius Caesar fucking nose.
Yeah.
He was, I don't know. He kind of looked like a male Missy Elliott when I really think back. You know, when she needs to lose weight, you know?
Right.
That size Missy.
Whatever happened to her?
I think she took her money and left. I think Napster.
All right.
Which blew up comedy. I'm convinced of that.
I'm smart with my money. After the accident, I only bought two things.
Can I get any credit here for going this far in and not making you fucking relive that again?
Oh, that's fine. We could talk about it. It was
okay.
Yeah.
Harris was one of the people, unfortunately, who was on the bus with Tracy Morgan when that Walmart truck. Not the bus. I'm sorry. It was one of those Mercedes van things.
Van limo party bus without the pole.
And rest in peace, Uncle Jimmy.
Uncle Jimmy Mack. Yeah.
Oh man, I remember bombing with him at fucking LeBar Bat one night. And I remember he was.
I bombed at LeBar Bat too.
Oh, everybody! I that fucking room. That was Talent's room. I
Yeah,
never
it was
figured
hard.
that room out. Never. That room was like this really cool bar, and it had an upstairs and a downstairs, and it was Tuesdays. The after work crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they never called any white people. I remember that. It was the specifically all black crowd, after work crowd, and
That
every
was
time I went
really
there,
hard.
I think I must have killed first because I went back.
Right.
So I killed the first time, then I bombed, then I killed, and I bombed every other fucking time. It was
I
unbelievable.
think I only did it twice, and I bombed both times.
Oh, I remember one night.
That's back when I was new anyway. So I probably still
bombed
bomb.
so bad. You never bombed so bad that the next guy's bombing off of your bomb? Like it was like the aftershock of what the fuck I did. So Uncle Jimmy went up there and was bombing, and he was bombing so bad, and it was so fucking quiet. He was just like, man, fuck y'all. He goes out, and this woman was giving him shit. And he said something about, like, whatever, something about his career.
Right, I tell you.
I still got my fucking career. And she was like, N-word, what career? And everybody, that was the biggest laugh. Everyone laughed at him. He was trying to talk about being on BET. Dude, you remember, what's his face? Gerald Kelly?
Gerald Kelly, yeah, the Green-Eyed Bandit.
I did one of his rooms out in Jersey. It was one of these places. It was a dance club, and like the next week, it was closed because someone shot off some guns or some shit. And I fucking went in there, and it was me and Roz G, and I forget who else. And he was supposed to host it. It was his room, and he was like fucking 2 hours late. And he came on stage. Oh yeah, and just was like, he's like, "Yo, what up? Just got back from Atlanta."
Damn, you kind of sound
like
him.
And he goes, doing Comic View. He goes, made 6 G's. He tried to say he made $6,000 doing Comic View. Now, people not in the business, Comic View, you got paid like $600.
I got $1,000 one time.
Did you? I think that was actually after everybody. I remember it was in the hundreds. It was like $700, all inclusive. Like you lost money.
You lost money, yeah.
Yeah,
you had to pay for your hotel. You had to pay for your flight.
So nobody knows that. So he showed up, told the crowd that had waited for him, like fucking Axl Rose back in the day, that he was late because he was doing a TV show and he made $6,000.
That's hilarious.
So that's how we started. Everybody's like, what the fuck? And I remember Roz went up, and she had such a tough set that she ended her set, and she goes, damn. She goes, I don't know who's coming up next, but he better be funny because you motherfuckers ain't laughing at shit.
Right.
And walked off.
Right.
And then they brought me up, and, of course, the second I talked, everybody did the white guy voice. Oh, nice to be here. Yes. Yeah, I ate it.
Jimmy, I tell you a funny story with Jimmy, because Jimmy had I guess he was away for comedy for a little while, so Tracy brought him on the road, was on tour with us. But before I got on the tour, Mark Philbo said that Jimmy would go up and open and be bombing. So Tracy said, Jimmy, go up and warm the crowd up. And Jimmy would go up, and Jimmy started bombing. And then Artie comes back and goes, yo, Tracy, Jimmy's bombing. You want me to get him off? Tracy's like, no, let him simmer for a little bit. So Artie goes back out and says, yo, Jimmy, stretch. And Jimmy turns around and goes, oh, okay, they want me to stay out here. And he just bombed for 5 more minutes. I'm like, Tracy, you're an asshole for just letting him sit in his bomb for 5 more minutes. Let him out off the hook, man. So the next night, he goes, Jimmy, you're up again.
You just sounded like that dude in Pulp Fiction.
Let him simmer a little bit. And then, so the next night, Tracy goes, Jimmy, you're on again tonight. And Jimmy literally went in the corner and started rehearsing his lines like new comics do.
Oh, God.
all right, I'm ready. And he went out and bombed again.
Oh.
What an asshole, Tracy.
I know. No, we had a bunch of those. There was a guy I remember when I was in Boston. This guy Dick Doherty. He still has rooms. He had all of these fucking rooms, right?
Right.
He was like the godfather of the outside, the satellite rooms, right? You had the main clubs in Boston, and then he had all of these places in like fucking Drake-it and all these places in Massachusetts, and which are all great towns, but not the best place sometimes to do comedy. So he finally did one. He finally got one in Boston. Oh, I guess he always had the. He had the Comedy Vault for a while, but he opened this other one in Kenmore Square, right in the college area, and they called it Comedy Campus. So this journeyman guy finally, they gives him the room. Like, you're booking this room, you host it, and he's fucking psyched.
Right.
Like, man, I'm finally fucking making something in this business. And he fucking, the first night of it, I'm on it with Greg Fitzsimmons, and the dude goes up, and it's this really small crowd, 10, 15 people. And dude, when I tell you he didn't get a fucking laugh, he got nothing. Brings up the first act. The first act immediately starts killing. Crowd fucking livens up. Everything's going great. Dude finishes his set. Thanks a lot. Back to your host, so-and-so. Host comes back up immediately, bombing again.
The host?
Bomb. Yeah,
that's always funny when the host is bombing also.
Bombs again. Brings up the woman that Greg was dating at the time. Fucking, she kills. Back to him, bombing. So finally brings up one more person. That person's killing, right? So fucking Fitzsimmons looks at him and he just goes, "Hey, buddy," he goes, "Dude, if it's not happening for you, just bring acts up. We got plenty of show here. We got plenty of show." And like pissed this guy off. So he got on stage and he fucking immediately just starts bombing again. So finally, dead silence. He just looks at the crowd. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck kind of jokes do you fucking people want?
Exactly.
And this guy in the crowd goes, "How about some funny jokes?" And he goes, "Funny how? Like things going in and out of Uranus."
Oh, did that kill?
It killed with me and Greg.
That's hilarious.
He said it was such fucking bile in his voice. You actually pictured this guy's asshole puckering up.
That should have killed.
Me and Greg it was the funniest joke of the night.
Yeah,
we were crying,
hilarious.
Laughing, and the crowd was just like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
Oh, wow. You remember Kevin Hart's Sweet Cheeks in Atlantic City?
I never did that one, but I remember they threw chicken at Big J.
Oh, it was awful. They loved
It sounded like
Kevin.
a gay bar.
No, it was
Sweet Cheeks?
It sounds like a gay bar.
I remember Patrice worked at a gay bar called Fiddlesticks. I did one. It was called Queen of Hearts.
Oh, man. No, it wasn't a gay bar. It was actually the opposite. Gangsters hung out there. It was fights all the time. And they loved little Kevin. But when everybody else would come back on, they threw like the plastic that you put the menu in on the table. They threw that at Jameek. They were awful. But they loved Kev. I was like, well, that guy is funny too.
Oh, I didn't do rooms like that. After a while, like there was if enough people
didn't last
came back, if enough people came back with stories.
Yeah,
Kev was trying to get me to do that room, and I remember I was far enough in my career. It was just
that you didn't have to do it.
I don't need to drive to Philly to bomb. Like I can do that. I'll do Drew Frazier's room, Manhattan proper.
Yeah,
I'll take the E to the end.
That just finally closed.
I love that room. I remember one time doing that.
There all the time too.
I remember doing that one time, and I remember one entourage chasing another entourage out of the club, and then the next week there was like a metal detector.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's Tupac and gangsters used to hang out. Gangsters used to hang out there, like real live drug dealers.
Yeah, that was the vibe. But then this really cool after work thing was there.
Yeah, like Supreme. He was on American Gangster. They used to hang out there.
There was not a guy there named Supreme.
Yeah, you probably didn't know. When you're whiteness, you had no idea you was next to.
They probably thought I was a cop. Dude, you know what people used to do when I got off the fucking when I took the E to Jamaica, Queens, and get up? They would look at me like. They would just be like, people would try to help me.
Jamaica Queens,
going like, dude, get back on. You want to go?
Yeah, exactly.
You want to go the other way. You want to go the other way.
Yep. Yeah, dude. You didn't know you was performing in front of killers, did you?
No. I knew that there was definitely some shit going on that wasn't legal, but I mean, I thought it was kind of like. You ever think about that?
What?
How many like people that killed somebody at this point? How long you've been doing stand up? How many people in the crowd who've killed somebody that people just don't even know yet? Or I used to think that on the subway. Right.
Well, in Manhattan proper, you definitely had some clientele in that killed somebody. Or had somebody killed.
Some future stars of the first 48.
Yes.
Let me do some advertising. How far into this am I? Half hour? Okay, cool. Look at me. Still can fill a half. Huh? I got to type in my goddamn password. What's the name of your special again so people know to look for it?
My name, my special CD.
Sorry.
God damn. Naive Innocence, and that's the thing because I moved from South Carolina, and I was naive and innocent. And then I got up here and I got around you guys, and I became fucking terrible.
You're gonna blame us like that demon wasn't in you?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It was in there, but you guys.
I haven't even talked about half the fucking shit that I heard you did.
Lubricated it out. You guys lubricated it out.
No. You were on your own. I remember you
Tracy didn't help
over fucking night. Overnight. You just went from like, hey, how's it going, everybody? To Harris did what? Harris did what?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. And I'm just leaving this open. You want to tell your fucking stories, you tell them. But other than that, I keep my mouth shut.
No, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Goes into falsetto. Hey, we got a little sideways there. All right, let me do a little read here real quickly. Look who's back for the holiday season. It's Sherry's Berries. All right, how far in are we?
And you have
40. Okay, 10 minutes of bullshit there. Sorry.
You have a tape. Oh, that's the camera, just so people don't watch you jerk off. Is that really?
I just feel I'm just like, what if you're banging your wife and you just have your thing on? Like these fucking nerds, they're not getting any pussy. They just watch you. They actually caught people like they you buy a TV, they watch you watching TV.
The fuck?
Yeah. And for some reason, that's not illegal. And now all these fucking morons are they got that little thing there in the house being like, Alexis. What's the capital of South America? Or whatever. I mean, sorry, Brazil? South America, I'm a moron. Yeah, you just bugged your own house. I mean, you already have with all these devices, and now you got this other thing.
Right.
That's like...
Alexa. I don't have Alexa in my house.
No. It's like inviting a vampire into your house.
Mm-hmm.
You got to put a thing of garlic around his fucking...
Fuck Alexa. The fuck out my house, bitch.
That's exactly what I said. Okay, here we go. It was bad timing, though. We both took a sip. All right, here's some questions, all right? Now, I tried to get some ethnically diverse ones so I can show you that I'm woke. How annoying is that to hear a white person say that, by the way?
Yeah, you married to a black woman, though.
Huh? Yeah, but, once you're married that long, they're just a woman. It's the same fights.
Y'all don't have cultural fights?
Yeah, it's not like, you hold the fork like this and I hold it like that. Wow, there really is a difference. It's the same shit.
Right.
Like, can I finish up here in the bathroom before you try to steal the sink brushing your teeth? It's the exact same shit.
Right.
It's only when you go out in public and everybody's like, what the fuck are you doing together? You fucking race traitor?
Yep.
But when you're in the house, huh?
I love.
Well, you can have mine.
Women.
You can have mine. Whatever one I was supposed to be with, and I took yours. There you go. And then one day we'll go on a double date like those two freaky fucking, was it the Yankees or the Indians? You ever hear about them, that they swapped wives?
No.
There was two teammates. They went on a double date. And by the end of the date, they fucking realized, hey, man, we're like sort of like, they probably sat at a four-top, boy, girl. And I think they just sort of, the dudes stopped talking to each other and the chicks stopped talking to each other. By the end of it, they agreed to swap wives.
In real, like, to go forever? Like,
yeah, and I think one of them made it and the other ones didn't.
That's hilarious.
The other one didn't. That'd be the funniest fight
People
ever.
do anything these days, man.
I should have stayed with the right fielder. Well, I know he's getting a better blowjob than I am. Oh, this would be brutal. All right, here we go. So I tried to have some ethnically diverse. Okay, so we're going to start. This is a nice one that I feel like anybody of any sort of background, transgendered, anybody. This one's called Favorite Ozzy Osbourne Guitarist. So this is right in your wheelhouse. This is a fastball. I feel like you can jump on this one.
Why is this in my wheelhouse?
It isn't. I'm being an asshole. All right.
I know you are.
Breaking Bad Bill. I'm watching a documentary on Ozzy that's 4 hours long and boozing while the girlfriend is out with her peers doing Sex in the City shit. While Randy Rhoads always gets to me, especially during Mr. Crowley, none of this means anything to you.
Sure don't.
My favorite has always been Jakey Lee. I grew up on Bark at the Moon when I was a kid and still listen now and again to the last furious riffs of Jake in the last minute of the song. I always felt he was underappreciated. Could not agree more. Zakk Wylde is all good, but it feels like he's using 5 pedals instead of showing pure skill. Well, you should have seen Zakk Wylde when he played with the Allman Brothers. That would have cured all of that shit for you. More style than substance. I don't agree with that. What do you think, Drummer Boy? P.S. Was great to see you in Montreal last summer when it was your birthday. All right. What do you think, Harris? Just by the names alone, who would you think is the best guitarist? Would you go with Randy Rhoads, Jake E. Lee, or Zakk Wylde?
Probably Zakk Wylde.
Zakk Wylde, why?
Because it's wild.
He
goes crazy.
I knew you were going to jump on that. Jake E. Lee, what does that sound like to you?
Jake E. Lee sounds like
Borderline Asian?
Yeah,
Mixed?
borderline Asian, trying to fit into the culture.
Okay. And Randy Rhoads?
Randy Rhoads is a racist, and
he died in a plane crash, by the way.
Oh,
yeah. Go easy here. This is like making fun of Tupac for a lot of white people.
Right. Oh, sorry. I don't know any of these people, listeners. I don't know any of these people. I would never say that if I don't know him.
Well, he did play in an all-white band, so I mean, your theory does
He's
work.
A fucking racist.
I'm
just. No, I'm joking. No.
It's a brutal story. He was on tour with Ozzy. Ozzy left Black Sabbath.
Okay.
All right, and that would be.
I didn't know that.
That would be whatever. They had a falling out.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like one of the. Well, how do I relate to you here? Well, it'd be like somebody in the Wu-Tang Clan. They leave and then they put out a solo album. That's critical there.
Right.
But Wu-Tang never really broke up, right?
No, not really. They just haven't made another album.
Okay. Well, just say they broke up, and then all of a sudden, one of those guys that's not Old Dirty Bastard, a Method Man, Ghostface Killer decides I'm gonna fucking put one out. You know.
Right.
It's a very like precarious point in your career. Like you don't get a second solo album if the first one bombs, especially if you came out in a supergroup. So Black Sabbath thing was over. He was coming out on his fucking own, and he ended up meeting Randy Rhoads, and Randy Rhoads basically saved his fucking career. So they go out on tour. He's destroying. He's like the new guy and everything, and they were in Florida, and they pulled in the bus driver, wherever they were going to gas up the bus, there was also a little plane there. And this guy had a pilot's license, and he fucking got in the plane with Randy Rhoads, and he was fucking buzzing the bus, doing all of that shit. And in his last pass, clipped the bus and either flew into the house or into the barn. Damn. One or the other, and then that was it.
That's crazy.
That was it. And you just said he sounded like a racist. I hope you're happy with
yourself.
No,
man.
Maybe if you shouldn't be Googling all your fucking porn, you could look up Randy Rhoads before you soiled his name. All right, here we go. Here's one that we can both jump on here. All right, girlfriend isn't very attractive, and I want to cheat. All right, I've been dating my girl for a year now, and I love the shit out of her, but goddamn if she isn't on the wrong side of the 10-point scale. Oh, my God, what an asshole.
Yeah,
you don't love her.
No. And why would you date her if she's ugly?
If you think she's ugly, yeah, you don't love this woman.
No.
All right, we got it. It's not like there's anything wrong with her face. She's just not really my type. Physically, personally wise.
Does he eat food?
Wait, physically. Personally, we jive. He says personality-wise, sorry. We jive like crazy. Jive. This guy's got to be like 50.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what do you look like?
Does he eat food that he doesn't like too?
Let's see. She's really pretty when I'm laying on top or next to her, but any other position, and I can't help but be disappointed in how overweight she is.
Jesus Christ.
This guy's a fucking monster.
Yeah, he sure is.
On one hand, the sensation of being with thick girls really appeals to me. On the other, my male gaze does not agree. Because of this, I've found my thoughts wandering to other women and have started flirting with them for seemingly no reason. I'm afraid I'm going to cheat, but I really think, all things considered, that I could marry this girl. This guy's all over the fucking map.
Yeah, he is.
Breaking up with her for something so shallow would absolutely kill me, and it hurt the woman I love's heart for no reason. What should I do?
Go see a therapist.
Yeah, he's like oddly, like brutally honest.
Mm-hmm.
He's being brutally honest here.
But he's all over. Like it makes no sense. I like purple, but I don't like purple. Like which is it? Pick the pros and cons, and
You know what it is? He made a very mature move where he actually fell in love with the person, and now I think that's getting old.
Yeah.
There's no more surprises. Now he's just looking at her, and I think that's what's going on.
That's exactly what's going on.
All right, now how can he, for Christmas, what gift can he give her that in a funny, loving way can be like, you need to lose some weight or I'm going to cheat on you? Sherry's berries.
Oh,
There is no way. There is no way. Like, you know, the end of an action movie where it's which wire do I clip?
right.
And they fucking take a guess. Yeah, both of them blow up.
Yeah.
All right, Harris, I got to put you on the spot. How would you do it? How would you tell the woman you love, personality-wise, you guys jive, as this guy says? How the fuck would you tell her you're putting on too much weight?
Well, if you know someone that long, then you go, bitch, you fat. You need to lose some weight.
So you rip the Band-Aid off.
Right. Go, listen, you're getting a little overweight. I had a friend of mine who dumped this girl. He warned her before while they were dating. He said, if you get big, I'm out of here. She got big. He was out of there.
She tested him.
She ate too much. She tested him, right?
And he said that?
Yeah, he said that to her.
And he left her crying? I told you.
Exactly.
What did I say?
I told exactly.
Look in the mirror. Look. What did I say?
You're 100 pounds bigger than you was when I said that shit.
But here's the thing, though. I actually there is like a complete lack of respect for your partner if you let yourself go.
Absolutely.
There is. Now here's the thing, unless
You're sick or something.
or she was pregnant, she
Right,
had a
exactly.
kid.
Yeah, we're not
then
talking about that,
fuck
yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
But before having kids, or if you're not having kids, all right, if you're sitting, a man or woman, if you're just sitting there, just becoming a fucking lard ass,
Exactly.
what are they supposed to do?
Exactly.
You're putting a lot of pressure.
Like Patrice said, however you look to get him, you have to somewhat maintain
Stay
that.
there. Yes.
Otherwise, he's gonna venture. We're animals. We're
And what I loved about Patrice is he could be that overweight in the crowd. They would never even think to say, like, well, what about you?
right.
He would just be like, bitch, I've always been this size.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What should he do?
Talk to her like he's talking to you on these emails.
I would just say this. I would put it on me. This is what I would do. This is if you really loved her, I'd put on 20 pounds myself, and then just be like, listen, man, I got to get this weight up.
You get diabetes.
but- Yeah, if I loved her, I would put on 20 pounds myself and just say, listen, I got to get this weight off, but I can't do it on my own. I need you, okay? I've been weak lately. I need you. And she'll be there for you, and you take her out on walks. And this is what you do.
You wouldn't do that.
You buy. I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't. I'd dump her. No, I wouldn't. You buy his and her fucking matching workout fucking outfits. Just steer right into it. Just walk and be that couple that dresses the same.
Right. Ugh.
I know. That's when it's just like, that's either like, whenever I see that, that's like either they literally are soulmates, if you believe in that, or there's one person that needs to be rescued from that relationship because the other person, like, who's that guy in the NBA?
What would Ric Flair do?
What would Ric Flair do?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Well, he wouldn't be around long enough for her to get fat. He'd do when he came home from the road, when she fucking put on all that weight, he'd do the Flair flop right in front of him. And just turn around. Or he'd do the Henry Hill. He'd just do that laugh. Remember that? And he turns right back around and he gets back in the car. What the fuck kind of people are they? He gets back in the car with Joe Pesci. I think that's what he would do. This guy, I think he was trying to be. Sometimes people try to be funny by being really blunt. I actually think this guy does really like this girl, but like, yeah, because I think if they start getting that fat before you had kids, you just start thinking like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I don't want to be with no one wants to be with no one wants to be a whale, and no one wants to be with a whale.
Well, some guys like big women,
Okay, all right, okay,
but he doesn't.
all
Obviously,
right. No, he likes thick and fucking obese. Is
my
different.
father had a best friend who wanted his woman as fat as she could be.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he had a best friend. His wife was a fat motherfucker too.
What is that about?
I think they like the,
the
bigness of.
This is what's so weird. Do you know? Maybe they want him to just look adorable. You know how adorable a baby looks with all those rolls of. They'll have like a roll of fat in the mid forearm. You're just
Right.
looking at it like, what is that?
Right.
What is that? I think they want that. They just want a big giant baby.
Right. I think it's they like a lot of women. But I like a lot of women, but as far as like not fat, but like let's say 6'5", 11", that's a lot of women too.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
But it's not fat.
Not fat.
Right.
What's the biggest you would go? Give me height and weight. let's break down your draft picks. And in the first round of the big girl draft, Harris Stanton picks
185-pound, 6 foot, no, 5 foot.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'2.5".
6'2.5". All right.
Yeah. So she has to. If you're gonna weigh 200 pounds, you have to be 5'11" and better. Otherwise, you're just a fat bitch. You know,
that's considered insensitive, but it's actually there's an endearing thing where you're just being brutally honest. Right, I mean, that's what your heart is saying.
Yes,
it's saying you're a fat bitch. It's not being like, listen,
right.
Your heart's doing all the work.
Yeah.
I would go whatever, because I'm 5'9" 3/4. I'm exactly Doug Flutie height, not quite 5'10".
Big women with curves are have a chance. Like if you still, the fat women that are really fat, but you can still see the
curve, yes,
the curvy, like they look like a skinny woman but fat.
Yeah,
like a
it's
hot
not
chick.
a giant just sack of fucking fat.
Right.
I would say 165.
165.
Because I'm about 175. I don't want to throw me around the fucking room.
What height is that?
Like 5'5".
Jesus,
5'6".
That's big. Yeah.
That's not that big. Depends on depends.
5'5", 160 pounds.
She's got a nice ass on her.
Okay,
that's like
it's
40
curvy.
pounds
Is it
right
curvy?
there.
I don't like those cankles with the ankles running to the foot.
You know what's weird is when they got fat feet and skinny toes.
Oh yeah.
It's like someone was at the carnival,
right?
Where you slam the hammer down trying to win that prize, and they hit them mid-feet.
Right. You ever heard Corey Holcomb's joke? You ever fucked a fat?
There's a fucking underrated comedian.
Absolutely. He's not underrated in my fucking head, but fellas, you ever fucked a fat girl with regular people legs? It's like, God damn, I just fucked a hamburglar.
That's usually an alcoholic body. There was a guy that I used to work with who I found out recently died, which wasn't a surprise. He was like the biggest booze hound cokehead. He was like 6'5".
Oh wow.
It was funny, man. He was just big, just like, dude, his legs were as skinny as mine. And he would push his jeans down, and just up top was just all booze and burgers, and he did blow. And
he's a mess.
He had the little but he had like his arms and legs was like he never worked out in his life. He was just skinny as shit, and he just kept all of that stuff there. I think he died of a heart attack. That's it right there. Which is why, going back to this guy, it's just like that's another thing you have to look at. Going to be like, I'm going to be a widower in my mid-50s.
Yeah.
There's got to be an exercise video just to get rid of your fat feet, or at least to fatten up your toes, right?
I don't know.
You should get like
I hate fat feet.
You should get like the ass injections in your toes just to fucking even it out, All right, here we go. Ladies get deprived too. How we doing on time? 57. Oh, good. Killing it. We're right on schedule here. All right, ladies get deprived too. Dear Bill, I am a lady in my late 20s, and I need a male perspective on something that's too embarrassing to bring up with my friends. All right, on a good day, one might consider me quite easy on the eyes. I exercise every day. I have a natural look, i.e., not trashy, 20 layers of makeup kind of gal. However, I always make a case of looking well put together, even at home. See? She gets it. However, my husband's a fat fuck. Anyways, but for some reason, in the last year of my 5-year marriage, my husband denies me sex, even if I only want to service him. He knows I like to do it. Jesus Christ.
You don't even want a blowjob?
Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. This is when you got to start taking off the police tape and getting out the blankets.
Dudes to take a blowjob from another dude.
I don't know about that. All right. On any given evening, he will be, it's not the mouth, dude. It's the stubble. I think that's what you couldn't get past. I almost got you to do a spit take. On any given evening, he will be sitting on his desk working late, and if I try to initiate things by touching him and kissing his neck, he will say, sorry, babe, it's too late and I'm tired. Same goes for when we are in bed. It has gotten to the point where I just, you know what, I got this paranoid thing.
He's cheating like a motherfucker on her.
Either that or he got replaced by a robot. And they haven't worked out the genitals yet.
Right.
Sorry, babe, it's too late, and I'm tired. What's wrong with your voice? Same goes for when we are in bed. It's gotten to the point where I will try to approach him in lingerie, sit on his lap, and even go as far as begging for just 5 minutes, all without any success. This is one of these things. If it was a news story, I would shut it off because I don't want to see the fucking ending. Here we go. What baffles me is that during normal day-to-day life, he will frequently grab my ass or tell me I'm hot.
Wow.
I also do the same for him, as I know men like to feel manly around their lady. This woman's like a dream. I don't know what this guy's problem is. The possibility of an affair.
How's she look? I wonder.
Okay, the possibility. She said she's easy on the eyes. She takes care of herself.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I got a nice picture in my head. Anyways, the possibility of an affair is very unlikely, seeing as we both work on the same male-dominated company. That's not good. And go home together. Also, he doesn't have a password in his phone. I think maybe he's gay. Male-dominated? I don't know.
There's something wrong with him.
Also, he doesn't have a password in his phone, which is another huge indication of nothing to hide. We have a very nice interaction. I never nag him. If anything, he nags me. And we do cool stuff like play ball together or watch some Netflix.
Maybe his dick don't work no more. He don't want to tell her yet.
Yeah, you need to sit down and talk to him. He's a very loving husband except for the actual physical loving part. I've tried to ask, but everything is fine. Everything is fine is in quote, as it appears. Bill, can you please let me know what the hell's going on? Aren't men supposed to be always in the mood? That's not true, but generally speaking, yes. I am going crazy, and I'm starting to get aroused from the most ridiculous thing, like men smiling at me or opening the door for me. Jesus, thank you. I really enjoy everything you're doing. Contrary to what you think, you are very balanced and insightful in your opinions. Look at this. I got to read that to my wife. Happy fucking holidays and go fuck yourself. One itching lady. Itching to get fucked. Listen, I think you've been nice for long enough.
Exactly. Me too.
You need to sit down and be like, look.
Or leave him.
No. You got to have the conversation first.
Well, first. That's it first, yeah.
What is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'm about ready to jump
fuck
on a
outta
rolling pin.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck are you doing here? You guys need to have a talk. Need to go on, and I would go nice, because just in case
Absolutely.
it is some physical thing.
Yeah, you got to go nice first, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that can't continue.
Maybe he's addicted to online porn.
That might be it. Maybe that has a problem, man. But that definitely can't continue what they're doing.
They seem like they're around each other the whole time. I don't know what's going on.
You get a lot of you have a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah. All right. Need advice quitting drinking. So I guess our advice is I would sit down and talk to him. And
Absolutely.
You're not being a nag at all. If anything, you've been too nice, and I would just go easy just in case it's something fucking.
It's a problem.
Yeah, like he got molested as a kid and it finally came out. Now he doesn't like.
Did
being
they
touched.
ever used to go at it like bunny rabbits?
I don't know.
That's a good question. Did y'all ever used to have like a real healthy sexual relationship and it just fell off a cliff? Like, was it gradual or?
Yeah, I think once you have a kid though, that just happens. You just like the appeal of going to sleep is just fucking unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable, and it's something if you do it together, like that's just sex. Like oh god, we're gonna get 8 hours. This is fucking awesome. All right, need advice quitting drinking. I know you're at 100-something odd days now of no drinking. 116 days of not drinking. I'm at a whopping day 3, and this is my third attempt in the last 2 months to take some serious time off. Most of my attempt only lasts 3 or 4 days max because every Friday rolls around and I can't help but buy some booze. I want to quit because my problem is serious enough that I experience minor withdrawals like minor shakes. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wow.
If I haven't had a drink in like 12 to 16 hours, meaning I'm physically dependent. Yeah, dude, this is a great reason to stop. It's not serious to the point where people notice. I'm able to keep it under control, but drinking every day needs to stop. Yeah, you're what's known as the intelligent alcoholic, so you can fucking, what I call, you're a smart guy and you're boozing, so you can play shit off and nobody notices. Where if you're just a fucking moron, everyone's going to notice.
Exactly.
My question for you is, how did you go about filling up the boredom that comes with being sober? Oh, what a great fucking question. I feel like I'm drinking, when I'm drinking, anything is fun. Sitting on the couch for hours. It's so true. On end, watching YouTube videos, but when I'm sober, I've got like 20 minutes tops before I'm bored with whatever I'm doing. Also, what was your problem ever bad enough that you felt withdrawals? I know how to taper pretty well at this point, but I have failed so many times that if you know of any tapering tips, so basically how to wean your way off, I guess, I'd love to hear them. P.S. I've always missed the old overrated, underrated segment you used to do circa 2009-ish on the podcast. You should bring that back. We're actually bringing it back. All right. This week we'll bring it back. We'll keep doing it. If you guys want to send it in, overrated, underrated. I find when I stop it's tough for like the first 6 to 10 days. And what it is, I'm more habit addicted. Like I just like if I'm eating well, like I'm addicted to go, I want to get a salad. If I'm eating like shit, like if I eat McDonald's, the next day I'm craving McDonald's. If I'm drinking, then I want to drink. So it's basically I tried to be conscious of those thoughts in my head and just be like, try to get to the next morning. Going tomorrow morning, what's going to make me happier? That I had a drink right now or that I didn't? And it was always that I didn't. So I would choose that.
That's a good way.
I used to do that at the Boston Comedy Club. When
I never really noticed you had I never really seen you drunk ever back in the day.
Yeah, in the last like 15 years, I gradually just drank more and more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And then I'm not like an alcoholic, but but at the amount that I drink, I absolutely am.
Right.
But I'm one of those guys that can shut it off, and like this guy just sit there.
Even after like shows, you don't like. I can do it if I'm not performing. I'll not have a drink. But if I'm performing, I need one or two. But I'm not an alcoholic by far. But I have other problems.
My thing is like, if I'm doing something, I'm doing it. So the first thing I do when I sit down at a bar is I always order a double because I'm assuming that their pour is.
You sit down at the bar. Do you go to the bar? Destination leaving your house is the bar, or like how's it? Or is it after shows?
Well, by this summer, it was becoming like going to the liquor store, buying a bottle, and always like I was on the road doing an acting gig, and I made sure I had a bottle, and I just was, and I knew I was shutting it down, so I was just like, "This is where it is, Bill. This is bad." Yeah, it got way worse than it ever went as far as like what am I doing? I remember coming home from the set one night and being excited that the bar was still open, and before I went in,
there's nothing wrong with that.
To where I was staying, but I was by myself.
Right. Oh, okay.
And I ordered a double, sucked it down, and said, "Give me another double," because I was sort of addicted to that crazy buzz and then going to sleep, I think.
I like it too, but
and then the whole time wanting to stop or wanting to not do it as much. And that was the only time, and this is the first time ever my wife brought it up, going, you're really drinking a lot. And hey, you're going to snore and blah, 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 blah. And then one night I came down to bed.
With a wife beater on, I can see you now.
I know. I'm so embarrassed by this. I came downstairs, and I actually was hiding the glass of booze on the other side of my leg when I was coming down the stairs, and I was just like, whoa,
yeah,
I'm that guy? Now, how soon before the bottle's in the back of the toilet? But I'm kind of too much of a control freak to make it happen like that. So, but I find like once I go 10 days, the way I'm wired, I could go.
It gets easier?
In theory, I could go forever.
Okay.
Because now it's just something I don't do. I'm just like the whatever it is that had its fucking claws in me. It only takes 10 days for how I'm chemically made up to just be like, okay. Yeah, like right now, 116 days in, I could easily go a year. I could go 2 years. I could like never drink again for the rest of my life.
And you don't think about it anymore, like after shows or?
No, there's certain things that like makes me just wish I was still drinking.
Okay.
Like what did I see the other day that I was just like, oh man, I would love to do that. Like, I saw some cool looking bar, and it was just like, man, I would love to go there at 2 in the afternoon. And just get fucking drinking till 6, get fucking hammered. But now the way it plays out is
you would never flare though.
I know I would jump in the Uber and I would come home drunk to my daughter, and it's like can't have that on the resume.
No.
So that's over.
Yeah, right?
So my life also kind of. I'm not telling this guy needs to have a kid. So I would just say. What you need to do is you got to push through that boredom, and but there's so much fun shit that you can actually fill that time up with. That there's stuff that you wanted to get good at, like like I've always been into music, like playing drums and playing guitar. If you do that instead, or working out, like if at night you go out for a jog instead, and then this is another thing too about not drinking is the fucking pounds just fall off you.
Really?
You know, as long as you don't substitute it with then like, oh, I'm going to eat ice cream so I can get like a sugar rush. If you actually eat well and you don't booze, it just falls off you. It's got nowhere to hide. So I don't know, man, but it sounds like, that the shakes and stuff, you're on another level than I was. So if I was you, I might even go to a meeting.
That's borderline intervention TV show. Would you get the shakes and shit?
Yeah, a little bit. I would go to a meeting, just check out a meeting, just go down there, check it out, sit in the back, have a fucking donut, whatever the hell they do there, and just listen to these people's insane stories. It'll actually make you feel better about yourself.
Feel better about yourself, exactly.
All right. Okay, here we go. Overrated, underrated. Bringing this back. This is something this guy said, so we're going to do one this week. This is something I used to do way back in the day, 2009. I used to do overrated, underrated. It was the thing of the week, whatever you thought was overrated, whatever was underrated. All right, overrated, Texas Hold'em. Underrated, 5-card stud. Now, here's the deal. I don't know shit about cards.
Me neither.
I don't know. You got to give me the explanation. All right, that was a soft open.
Yeah, I don't know anything about cards. I never played cards.
All right, what do you think's overrated right now? This topic?
No. What I think's overrated right now? Hip hop.
Really?
Yeah, like the not having any words in your song, and it being quote unquote a classic or a hot song for this time, and then but 10 years down the road, this guy said nothing. It was just beat and sounds.
Oh, it's just beating. So it's
like mumble rap. Like they don't say anything.
Oh, everybody sounds like they're kind of like half in the bag.
Yeah, and there's no originality anymore. But people are still celebrating something that is less original than it used to be.
Do you know how old you sound right now?
Well,
people in your generation, that's gangster rap, and they're.
But originality is not old. That's
true.
That's universal, and they don't have any.
When
they're
did they
so
lose
unoriginal
you?
that their name's not even different. How many little rappers do we have?
Right.
Little this, little that, little. You can't even name yourself an original name.
Oh, all right. When did they lose? When did hip hop lose you?
Probably the mid 2000s. No, late 2000s.
Late 2000s.
Like maybe 2011, 12 on and up.
That's
but
not bad.
But not
so
all.
You hung in there.
Yeah, but not all hip hop. Like you got artists like Eminem and Nas who's still doing what they're supposed to do.
Oh God. You're doing that's like me going, Zeppelin and AC/DC.
Yeah,
you're going back like 20 years.
Yeah, but those guys are still rapping. Those guys are still relevant, and they're still relevant. And it's the words. Like you can't have a song with it's instrumental.
What about the who's they got all the awards? Migos. Is it the Migos?
I don't even know them because I don't listen to them. I don't even know. I heard of them, but I don't know these people. I know a lot of rappers' name got Little in it, and that bugs me. Little Uzi Vert. Nigga, just change your name to an original name. Lil Wayne was first, and then everybody else is Little. Remember Tupac and Biggie? They had their own names. Nah, it's original name.
Yeah, he went Little because there was already a Too Short. Who is the little person there? And that fucking what was that fucking? I don't know anybody. There was a guy, Bushwick Bill.
He was.
No, he didn't even say Little.
No, he was Bushwick Bill.
He said where he was from. Well, these millennials are sensitive. Okay, I would say overrated. Being informed is overrated.
Absolutely.
I am off social medias. I don't read this shit anymore. I post my shit on there, but I'm done. Like, I fucking took a picture of this thing today. This is the classic. It's going to take forever to turn my phone on, so I'm just going to have to keep going. Classic fucking.
Like a joke when you forgot the punchline, you just keep repeating the setup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Shit is crazy.
Shit is crazy.
We used to say when white comics were lost in their act, they'd look down and be like, yeah, so what else is going on?
Black
comics, shit is crazy. Yeah, shit is crazy out here.
Shit is crazy out here.
Crazy, but you're a good-looking crowd. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming out tonight.
Give it up for the ladies.
Ladies, all the strong women in the crowd. They're always strong. Women are always strong.
I used to do that so I wouldn't bomb early. Like in black rooms, like I'll just go give it up for the ladies and compliment the crowd enough so they'll give me at least 30 more seconds not to boo me.
What's the hardest room you ever did?
Sweet Cheeks.
Sweet Cheeks. Back to Sweet Cheeks.
It's not even. I don't even think it's it's just a fucking place to go pick up $200. What was it, $250 back then?
Oh yeah,
You just
that
go-
was literally like fighting Mike Tyson. It's
Yeah.
just like, all right, if I can survive a round, I get my fucking purse.
Yeah.
All right, this is something that somebody tweeted today about that pipe bomb that went off in the Port Authority. It was
I'm
some guy-
uninformed. When did this happen?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately nobody died. They said there was non-life-threatening injuries, but that doesn't mean somebody didn't lose an eye or fucking hearing or something.
A bomb went off on 23rd Street right by Gotham Comedy Club, and they closed the street off.
I thought you were gonna do a joke.
No.
So and so just got off stage.
When I got there, the street was closed off, and I actually asked the cop, but told the cop I have a spot. I didn't give a fuck about.
Oh my.
I just wanted to do my spot.
Well, this is what this fucking jerk off tweets about the Port Authority bomb. He goes, "I have no idea what's going on at the Port Authority, but it was chaotic, and I didn't stay to find out." So you have no idea what's going on, but we had to find out how you felt about what you didn't know was happening. Who gives a fuck what you did? There's people down there hurt, you fucking asshole. This is what I can't stand. I'll be an old man here about young people now. Nobody cares.
Right.
About every fucking thought in your stupid fucking head.
Exactly.
Were you there? Did you see what happened? Do you have any information?
I wish you guys could see Bill's
I have
face
no
right
idea
now.
what's going on at Port Authority, but it was chaotic, and I didn't stay to find out. And then there's going to be 1,000 fucking people going, so happy you're okay.
Yeah, exactly. People just want to. I didn't know so many people wanted to be known.
No, all these fucking people. You know why all these fucking people
Heard.
on social media? It's like they have their own TV show
Yeah.
and they're acting like celebrities, self-involved
Right.
fucking celebrities,
They're
as opposed to cool ones like us.
Yeah, the one who actually
Sorry.
have a skill set.
Sorry. All right, last one. Here we go. How do I tell the truth? Hey, Bill. Well, I've been thinking with my dick. I recently downloaded the popular hookup app Tinder, and I've been using it to fish for some action with some college chicks in my area. I'm pretty good looking, and I'm not bad with chicks, so I've had moderate success. I recently found this one chick in my area who is, pre-med. Is that all one word? Premed? Okay, thank you. I was like, I knew I was dumb. I didn't think I was that fucking dumb. You know what's funny? That fucking guy who said, the guy who I was telling the story about, who, like, you know, funny how, like, things going in and out of your ass. He just sent me a text. How fucking random is that? I recently found this chick in my area who's pre-med. I really like spending time with her, and we have the same sense of humor and political beliefs. And she has an excellent body and face. In short, she's pretty close to my ideal girl. However, there's one problem. I'm in high school, and she has no idea. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy, dude. Dude, you're a legend. You should be giving me advice. I have dodged most of her questions about the classes I take, and where I couldn't dodge, I lied. Oh, Jesus. We haven't done anything physically, but she made it clear she is interested in me. I'm in deep, Bill. How do I tell her without her hating me? Do I have to tell her? I just fucking tell her. Just say, listen, I don't want to go to a physical level without fucking telling you the truth. I'm still in high school. I really liked you. I would have told you sooner, but I was afraid you weren't going to like me. Just do that. Put it out on the table. If she tells you to go fuck yourself, fine. But you've learned a very valuable lesson with women, which I wish somebody taught me way back in my teen years. Just tell them the truth.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? I want to fuck you. I have no intention of having a relationship with you.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Most will walk away. Some won't.
Some
But
will
you
stay.
you can literally leave your fucking car out in the front of your house, and it will never be keyed. None of your shit will be lit on fire.
You gotta be honest. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why when I see guys who damn, I forgot my train of thought. But honesty is always the best policy, because you don't have to worry about people getting mad and doing crazy shit to you.
Dude, it works with cops too. Cops and women. Nobody gets lied to more than those two.
Mm-hmm.
And when you actually come with the truth, even if
Absolutely.
they don't like the truth, it kind of like
Yeah.
you might not get a ticket.
That's probably why Patrice, when the fire, that we didn't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because he was fucking honest about what happened.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, I fucking banged this U-turn, right? And Friday as I did, this fucking cop got out of his car, and as I'm pulling up, I'm thinking, maybe he didn't see it, and he's just coincidentally getting out. And he walks right up to my window. He goes, "Let me see your driver's license and registration." I was like, fuck. He goes, you know why I'm asking for that? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, why? I go, because I just made an illegal U-turn. And he goes, why did you do that? I go, because I'm impatient. I didn't want to wait in that line in there. And he just laughed, and he goes, do you want me to give you a ticket? And I said, no, but I'm not going to lie to you.
Right.
And he laughed again. He goes, all right, get out of here.
Exactly.
I said, you're awesome.
Right.
And that was it. Then other times, I've told the truth. And, like, all the way to the point, is this your current address? And I said, no. And the guy wrote me up for everything and my fucking address. And I was like, this motherfucker. Is he trying to get fucking cop of the month? That guy did that in Western New York. All right, we're out of time. Harris.
Yes.
So great to see you.
You too,
Once
man.
again,
Been a minute.
your album.
My comedy album is coming out. It's out already.
It's
November
out right
30th.
now
Yeah.
on iTunes.
Amazon and Google Play and anywhere else that you can get comedy.
Anywhere else.
Yes.
And the name of the album is?
Naive Innocence.
Okay. I almost said Google Alert is where you can get it. Like, I don't know what the fuck anything is. All right. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for being on the
having me, man.
podcast.
Appreciate
and
it.
everybody, I forgot to mention here, we got a couple of benefit stuff here. Santa Steve, the great Steve Simone, and Regular Hero are raising money again this year for children fighting cancer and their families. That's worded really weird. They're fighting cancer and the families of the children fighting cancer? Isn't that weird? They're raising money again this year for children fighting cancer and their families. These kids are fighting cancer and their own families. The children and their families fighting cancer. Monday Morning Podcast listeners helped raise $15,000 last month, and it had a huge impact on a lot of families. The stories are brutal, and every bit helps. We're going to save you the fucking stories, okay? The goal this year is to raise $50,000. We're going to tweet a link. Thank you so much in ahead of time if you got anything to give. And also, here's some dates I got coming up. I'm going to be at the Hard Rock Live in Hollywood, Florida, December 14th, December 16th, the Bob Carr Theater in Orlando, Florida. February 2nd, the Reno Ballroom, Reno, Nevada. February 20th, the Patrice O'Neill Comedy Benefit, the 6th annual. Makes a great Christmas gift. Get a pair of tickets to that. Tickets have been going fast. It's a great benefit, raising money for Patrice's mom and loved ones. Thank you guys so much. Go fuck yourselves, and I'll check in on you on Thursday.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Anything Better podcast with your host, me, Paul Virzi, over here in New York. We got Bill Burr over there out west, and today we have an incredible guest, somebody that we're very excited to have, an amazing football player, an amazing analyst. Greg Olsen is here. Thank you so much for being on the show, bud.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, you're the first legit, like beyond legit guest we've ever had. We went from knucklehead gamblers to a professional football player analyst. I got to tell you, I love the way you call a game. And I really do believe that former players, because you played the game, your knowledge of the game, and then you can go beyond, like someone who has a broadcaster background, as you understand beyond the analytics cannot measure emotions in the game, like when to go for something, when not to, when to, I don't know. It's just something that I've noticed when I listen to you call the game. So just wanted to say that before we started.
Absolutely. That. Yes, I echo those sentiments because it's just something about a player that I kind of like when guys know what's going to happen. I like watching the game where they're like, oh, this play looks like this. I know some people don't like that, but I kind of like that, to be like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about, No, and that's no offense to I like guys like Mike Tirico and them, but I also like when they're like, dude, this is going to happen.
Yeah, but it's weird when it's a former player and they didn't have a good career and then they seem to know everything that was going on. It's just like, where the hell was this when you were on the field?
well, so two different. So in the booth, two different roles, right? So the play-by-play guy, he's setting everything up. He's painting the picture. He's talking down and distance and score and remainders, and he's driving the ship in and out of commercial breaks. He's doing ad reads. He's pitching Bill Burr's new comedy special on Fox. He's managing all of those things. And then obviously as the color commentator, as the quote-unquote analyst, I believe our job is to not necessarily tell you what you're seeing. That in today's day and age, cameras, instant replay, slow-mo, it's pretty clear what's happening. There's not a shot that these guys miss. Our job is to fill in all the blanks of why are you seeing this? Why is this the right decision? What is the coach considering? When are they going to use their timeouts? How is their run defense? Why do they struggle? Paint the picture for the audience and the viewer, the why. Fill in the gaps, because I think it's very easy to say, nice throw, nice catch. Really good run. Saquon Barkley's awesome. Those are very generic things. I think a lot of people can sit home, but filling in the gaps, painting the picture behind the curtain of the why, I think that's what viewers are really interested in now. The interest and the passion of football is at its all-time highest, and I think people are much more educated than we used to give them credit for, and we need to speak to them accordingly.
Yeah, well, we all have our fantasy teams now, so we all think that we're GMs.
True. I'll tell you, fantasy football is a dangerous game, man. When I was a player, I'd have a game where we won and I'm feeling good. I might only had 3 or 4 catches, and you're in the grocery store checkout line, and a woman behind you is like, "Hey, good win, but I lost my fantasy because of you," and you're like, so like it's that shit's real now. Like that fantasy.
No, it
football,
isn't. That's what you have to say. You have to say this isn't real.
In fans' minds, it is all that matters. My kids who have like 100 fantasy leagues with their friends, outside of the Panthers, who they watch as like the hometown team, they only watch the game if someone from their fantasy team is in it.
That's why I never played. Because I didn't like that it went from I want this team to win to lose to now I'm just rooting for a guy to have 9 catches or whatever the hell it is. I gotta tell you, like a lot of non-athlete people were like really into that type of thing, and it rewards. I don't know. Nerds are running the world right now, Greg. I don't know what to tell you. The Tesla guy, the Amazon guy, the Facebook guy, analytics. That's another thing that I hate is when you used to make a bad choice, a decision as a coach, you had to sit there and take it. Now they can just be like, well, the analytics told me to do that. It's like, well, then couldn't I have just done that? If I just have a book that has, the answers,
you know what?
I'm an analytics guy now, Bill. I'm an analytics guy. I not blanket across the board, like just put in your eyes and just go down the book, but it is the wave of the future for NFL football, and that's
Can you expound on that? When you say you're an analytics guy, it's just like, so all of this information of every game that's ever played, I guess, is crammed into a computer. It does the math. This is how they pick the spreads now, Paul. This is why we're getting our asses kicked. And then it spits out, like, what's the difference between you, pro football player, played it all your life, and me, jackass, looking at analytics? Like, does your pro football background give you a better, if it's just an answer, am I looking at it too simplistically?
I think it's a great conversation that I love to have, and we can go as deep as you want to here. There's 2 elements to this, right? So analytics, data acquisition, data-based decision-making is happening for me as I prepare to call a broadcast. I get reams of information from all different data sites. The days of how many yards does Philly throw for, how many touchdown passes does Jalen Hurts have, how many touchdown runs does Saquon have. I have Philly this week, so they're like top of mind. Those days are over. Like, you are not studying box scores. Yards, touchdowns are completely irrelevant if you're really trying to understand what makes a team good or bad, struggling, whatever. There's so many more deep layers to it that comes from a lot of this data that's collected. Now, like anything, the data is only as good as your ability to interpret it, right? So as you start studying some of these charts and these graphs that are really getting into the weeds, we're not going to say it on the broadcast. We're not going to say the EPA per play and the yards per drop back, and we're not going to get into the real nerdy ins and outs of analytics on the broadcast, but it does shape storylines. If you want to start talking about the struggles of the Philadelphia Eagles, instead of just saying they stink, they can't score, fire everybody, well, let's really dive into why is this team different? Well, you start looking at their average first down yardage. Well, what does first down struggles do? Put you into second and pass. Are they a good downfield passing team? And you start layering in elements and you say, okay, maybe this is why the formula is broken. Let's have that conversation on air, and how do they fix it? That's a lot more interesting of a conversation than just saying, hey, they're scoring 7 less points a game. Well, why? So that's part of it. The in-game decision-making, that's the stuff that everyone is really hot on. Andy Reid the other night on Sunday night, he goes for it on 4th and 1 in a 10-10 game on his own 30-yard line, fails. Houston scores a touchdown. Those are the hot button topics that generate a ton of conversation. 4th down tries, 2-point conversions. That's really where the bulk of the quote-unquote analytics pushback comes from. And the notion that it's just a book that's a blanket It's the same for me as it would be for you, as you. All the context that people argue is not being taken into consideration is being taken into consideration. Again, each team has access to all of the same data points for 25 years of tracking over general times. But then their team of analysts, their team in-house, boils that down with, how is my offensive line? How is my defense? How is my quarterback? Is my running back hurt? And then you tailor make those decisions to you. Then when you get into the game, they're non-emotional decisions, right? I don't sometimes hit 16 and sometimes stay. I hit it and I hit it and I bust, but I still hit it. It's the same idea, right? It's the idea of taking emotion out of very critical moments in the game. And let's say, this doesn't guarantee it's the right end result, but it is the right formula of decision making that over long periods of time does tilt the game in my favor, even if it didn't tilt the game in my favor in this moment.
That's really interesting. So you still have to have like football knowledge to then dissect and analyze the analytics. I would look at that as far as like being a stand-up comedian. Some big story happens in the news, and the general, middle of the pack comedians all kind of have the same angle, but like the great ones that, I'm a fan of, they can do a topic. Like I always feel like a great comedian can do a topic, everyone's mulched, and not only have a whole new angle, but like it's like fresh. So it seems like it's like that. Like,
yeah, you could give me your stand. You said you have a show tonight. You could print me right now your stand-up routine, and I'll fly to California, and I could stand up on the stage and verbatim say the exact same words you say. It's not nearly as funny without your delivery, without your tone, without your mannerisms, without your timing, right? There's an art to it. It's no different than football, right? Like there is an art behind all of this. There is an expertise. There is an instinct. But it is not a gut, in the moment, emotional reaction that everyone wants it to be, right? Like momentum and all the things. It's all bullshit.
Right, Greg.
But
momentum is bullshit.
Greg, the question that I have though is like, Dan Campbell is somebody I have.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, Dan Campbell, somebody I have a problem with, because I think that whether you have the game plan and the blueprint of the game or not, in my opinion, what he did in San Francisco cost him going to the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
I called that game.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like that to me, and then to see him do it the other night 5 times and go 0 for 5 and still go. I mean, I'm sitting here going like, listen, I'm a stand-up comedian. I don't know shit. I can't coach like that guy can coach, but I'm going to take the points when I need to take the points and stay ahead either 2 possessions or 3 possessions, which he could have done in San Francisco. And then I don't like the idea of, well, that's what we did the regular season and that's what got us here. But it's like, yeah, but it's, and maybe I'm nuts, but it's like, it's not the regular season. This is to go to the Super Bowl and go get those points. To also, another thing that analytics does not take into consideration is how momentum with the crowd. Everybody knows that when a defense gets a 4th down stop at home, people are going crazy. People are losing their shit going, yeah, we stopped them. And then that's going to make the next unit come out gassed up. So I feel like guys like Dan Campbell, I don't know if he can't help himself, but I think if that doesn't change, the Lions are in trouble.
All right, so a lot to unpack there, and I love these conversations. Let's talk last week's Thursday night game, because it was Detroit versus Dallas.
Yep.
Neither team could stop anybody. It was fireworks, right? The offenses were awesome. At the end of that, towards the end of the fourth quarter, I don't know off the top of my head how much time was left, but the back half of the fourth quarter, Dallas had the ball inside the 10-yard line. It was like 4th and 3, and they were down 10 points. And they kicked a field goal to go down 7. So they made it, right? This notion that it's a 1-score game. We're so excited that it's a 1-score game. We're so motivated. The momentum is in my favor. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but do you know what happened the next possession that Detroit got the ball? So Dallas makes it 10-7. It goes from a 10-point to a 7-point. They come off the field saying, great job. We're only down 1 score. Kickoff. Detroit comes on offense. So Dallas, it has all the momentum. The game is solely there for the taking. You know what Detroit did on the next drive?
Scored.
They went the entire length of the field and went up 14. So my point of saying all of this, and there's a million examples of all of this, right? Like I'm not suggesting that guys don't feel momentum. Emotion is still a huge element of sports, and it's a huge element of football, right? There's an energy. I'm not saying guys don't feel it. I felt it. There were games where you could throw the ball behind my head and like you're in the flow, right? I would argue it's confidence, it's a mindset, right? That's real for athletic. There's days where I'm sure you guys stand up on stage and man, it just comes out exactly the way you imagine. And I'm sure there's other days where like your timing's off and it didn't land the way and you feel uncomfortable. But in a game like football, those feelings are real. I'm not discounting how guys on the sideline in their brain imagine. All I'm saying is it doesn't impact the game. You feeling moment, right? Like how many times have we heard on a broadcast, this team has all the momentum and then they go 3 and out? Or this team just got all the momentum and they fumble, right?
I feel like it doesn't I feel like all of a sudden the wheels fall off and everybody just.
But then they get them back on.
But I don't see
on.
the game the way you do.
Yeah, I mean, the game that spurred a lot of conversation from a couple weeks ago was Philly versus Chicago. Mm-hmm. And it was the whole thing about going for 2 and they were down 15, and I'm not going to get into all of that. But that game, Philly, at the end of the game, when Sirianni went for 2 to try to make it, to cut the lead, they were down 15. He tried to make it 7. He went for 2 and failed. It stayed at 9. They just went on an 85-yard touchdown drive. Who has all the momentum?
Well, if you missed the 2-point conversion, the other team does.
But you just scored the touchdown, so who had the momentum? After the 82-yard touchdown drive, who had the momentum?
The Eagles did until they went for the stupid 2-point conversion,
so
and then they missed it, and then the other fans get excited.
It's irrelevant. All I'm saying is...
It feels like math class.
No, it's not math. It's the argument of... The argument is the game takes ebbs and flows naturally, regardless of how you feel.
Greg, I feel like you could be, honestly, I feel like you could be and should be an NFL head coach because you just have that demeanor. But I got to ask you a question real quick, and I know fans are going to...
I want to talk about Dan Campbell, though. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. The one thing I wanted to ask you, though, when you're calling a game and you see a call that is just so egregiously wrong, are you guys kind of told like, hey, you could mention it, but don't go so hard with it? Or do you have free reign to be like, that's the worst thing I've ever seen?
I've never gotten a call from Fox in 5 years ever telling me to tone down my evaluation, my assessment, good, bad, referees, coaches. Now, I will say, my personality and just who I am not like a shit on people guy. Quarterback's having a bad day. I got to say, hey, that's a throw you got to make. He's late with his eyes, his feet, whatever. You have to be honest or else you lose the trust of the audience that you can have perspective, right?
Sure.
Coaches, decisions. I always say, like, you could be critical of decisions. You don't like the decision? Great. Everyone has their opinion. You don't like, he's late with his footwork. He drops a ball, bad, whatever it is. Those are totally fair criticisms. As long as you don't get personal, right? Like that's my one rule is like, there's no personal attacks, right? You're not lazy. You're not a dog. You're not these guys are high level professional athletes and they deserve to be spoken about in a certain sense. Same thing with the referees. Because there's bad calls made all the time. I don't envy the position of NFL referees. I think NFL officiating is actually better than it's ever been. I think as a viewer, we have insight and access to views and pictures and replays and angles that didn't exist 10 years ago, let alone 20 years ago. So this idea that more calls are missed, I would argue the game has gotten so complicated, so fast, so just the notion that these guys can get anything right, I feel like is pretty impressive. And I think the calls are no different. We just didn't know if the guy false started by half of a millisecond because the camera didn't pick it up 10 years ago. We didn't know if that guy's face mask grabbed his jersey collar or his pinky grabbed the face mask because now we have like 9D zoom in extra. It's just a different experience for the viewer right now, and we have more information than ever before.
All right, I got one for you real quick before you do Dan Campbell. my opinion on the 2-point conversion that drives me nuts is the team goes, is first and goal, don't get it. Second and goal, don't get it. Third and goal, don't get it. Go for it on 4th down, score a touchdown. And then everybody goes, go for 2. It's like, because it's only 2 points, people aren't looking like, dude, you have to score another touchdown to only get 2. And it just took you 4 downs. They stopped you 3 times. It took you 4 times to get that ball across the goal line. Now you're looking at, because it's only a 2-point conversion, you have to score back-to-back touchdowns is what a 2-point conversion is, but you only get 6 points for the touchdown, 2 points for, so people look at it like they equate the amount of points to the difficulty of it. And I feel like in the first quarter, why are you going for 2 points? Just get the extra point. And the amount of times that they missed 2 2-point conversions and then hit the third one, it's like you could have just kicked 3 extra points, or you could have just kicked 2 extra points. You'd end up where you would have been. I think the 2-point conversion is overrated.
Well, 2-point conversions have really become a end of game strategy, possessions, trying to chip back, typically for teams either trying to extend leads to 2-score games or cut into a deficit, right? We don't see a ton of teams in the early first 3 quarters of the game. There was a time years ago where guys were toying with it. Pittsburgh started doing it. Everyone, for the most part now, is kicking extra points. The only time you'll see an early 2-point try is we actually had it in our Buffalo Bengals game. Josh Allen threw a 4th down touchdown pass. He got roughed, like they caught it. He got personal fouled. They elected to have the penalty enforced on the point after try, which now instead of going for 2 from the 2, you go from 2 from the 1-yard line. 9 out of 10 times, every NFL coach is going to say, from the 1-yard line, I'll take my odds of getting 1 yard to get 2 points as opposed to kicking a chip shot field goal. Outside of that, typically 2-point conversions are coming at the end of the game, like it did in the Bears-Philly game, where you're down 15, you're down 14, and the idea is to try to win the game in regulation, maximize your possessions. That's a longer conversation. But that's typically, right now, the NFL average on 2-point conversions is about 45%. It ranges any given year, 43, maybe to 48. It is less than a coin flip to get a 2-point try. Because remember, if it was 52%, I mean, you guys are gamblers, and we all, you play the odds over long periods of time. If it was 50, if people could figure out how to make a 2-point try over 50%,
forget it.
They would do it every time.
Then I learned. I think I just watched the game emotionally because I feel like everybody's going for,
that's the key word.
For 2 points in the third quarter, and I'm calling him up, going, "What the fuck are they doing? Kick the goddamn John Madden, take the points." Yeah, I must be.
So
wait a minute.
Emotion.
I think it's my usual problem, Paul. I'm too emotional.
Bill, you emotional? No.
Remember, emotion drives all of this. And it's real. I'm emotional. Like when I'm coaching a game or playing in a game, I am highly emotional. I am a very intense, competitive, emotional person, whether I'm coaching my daughter's basketball team or I'm playing in the Super Bowl. Like that's just my personality. So I don't shit on people being emotional. I believe people that don't have a fire and don't have that, I don't relate. I can't process how those people operate, and everyone to each their own. That's not me personally. So this whole embracing this non-emotional decision-making is me taking a step back and saying, okay, if I was an NFL head coach, knowing how I would be on an NFL sideline, which is highly intense, high feedback frequency, a lot of energy, a lot of emotion, do I want to make critical decisions in that mindset? Us all sitting here nice and calm, we'd say, of course you don't want to.
Interesting.
You don't want to make Dan Campbell is a very emotional person. He's a very heart on his sleeve. That's why the guys love him, because he's so real, right? He doesn't hide behind this like fake bullshit facade.
Right.
So he's saying to myself, do I want to make these rash emotional decisions based on how I feel? No, that's not in the team's best interest. He has made a clear moment from the time he took that job. They're going to play a very clear brand of football. He was an early adopter of this mentality. They have won as many, if not more, games than virtually the entire league, maybe with the exception of Kansas City and Philly over the last couple of years. It has been a highly productive mentality. It bit him in the ass in the playoffs that year. I called that game. I was in the booth talking over those fourth down failures. He stood up at the podium virtually in tears, and he ate it. And he stood up there with us. And emotion is why people don't do it. Because I don't want to stand up on the post-game podium and say, you're the reason, Greg Olsen, we lost. It's easier for me as the coach to say, we should have made the kick. We need to play better defense. We didn't execute. It wasn't our day. All this bullshit, instead of I'm the head coach and that decision, yeah, it didn't work, but I would do it again. That is very hard to do, but I commend the guys that do it.
I get that, but if this is football-wise, forget emotion. If he kicks the field goal to go up 17 instead of go for it there and keep it a 14-point game, and then San Francisco came down and then made it a 7-point game, if he still keeps it a 3-point thing, a 3-possession thing, isn't that just mathematically their chances of winning that game
you
better?
Also just made the assumption that they're automatically going to make the kick. I mean, it was like,
one was from like the 28, wasn't it? Or the 30?
I'd have to go back and pull up I know there was 3 of them. There was 3 critical fourth downs, 2 were dropped, and I don't remember the other one. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you what the yard line was or what the score was. I wish I could. I just can't. I don't know exactly. But of course, I remember the moments of the game really well. But the notion that I'm going to play one style of football and then I'm going to just arbitrarily, I always think the best that people can relate it to is everybody has sat at a blackjack table, right? Like, and I know this is probably oversimplifying it because football is not just a deck of cards already predetermined. So like there is some nuance to football, and I'm not suggesting otherwise. But just from an emotional standpoint, we've all had 10 up on the dealer face card, and in your mind you know it's 20 and you got fucking 16. And it takes every ounce of commitment and consistency to keep taking that card. And then he flips over and he had a 5 and he flipped, right? And now you're just guessing. Right, yeah. So you all of a sudden now just put everything to luck. And listen, we've all sat at the table where the asshole stays on 16 and he wins. Does it mean it was the right decision? We all know it's not.
I've always been intimidated to go to a blackjack table because I don't know the rules, and it's just like you feel everybody. You're taking my cards. What are you doing? And blah blah blah, and all of this. None of any of it watching makes sense. Like, I'm not taking your cards. They're not yours. You don't know. No, we don't know what card is coming. You should have said it, then I would have got that card. All of that.
But why do we say it? But Bill, why do we feel? We feel that.
It's emotion.
We feel that emotion. We feel like the deck is flipped. We feel like you screwed me because you didn't split your 8s or whatever. But you're arguing it's not. You're arguing it's bullshit, and I'm saying I agree with you.
No, I'm saying I like, how do you learn how to play blackjack? You sit down and there's like 4 degenerates next to you just puffing and puffing about everything you're doing. It's just like, didn't you ever not know what you were doing? So I
anyway.
I stay away from that shit. I always play the craps. I like crap table.
The reality is, in today's modern NFL, this is the last point I'll make about it. We can talk about whatever you guys want.
Yeah, then we got to get into your youth sports thing.
I can talk about this all day. The reality, more often than not, again, there's always outliers to everything. There is a game where I could kick 5 field goals and beat you 15-10, and me taking the points, which that phrase drives me insane. Taking the points, it worked out for me, right? You could say it about the other night's game, the Monday night game. The Chargers scored 1 touchdown on the opening possession of the game. They scored a touchdown against Philly. And they proceeded to kick nothing but field goals the entire rest of the game. And they won in overtime. So they took the points and they won. They won because that Jalen Hurts threw 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
So when you make these decisions, you have to make these decisions based off what I call like neutral possession games. I cannot game plan that I'm going to return a punt for a touchdown. I cannot game plan and say I'm going to get a strip sack fumble return for a touch. You can't prepare the game strategy like all these one-offs are going to happen. If they do, great, and I will adjust accordingly as the game unfolds. That's the job of a great head coach, is to evaluate the moments of the game as they happen. But I can't plan that Jalen Hurts is going to throw 4 picks. He threw 3 picks over 12 games.
Yeah.
That's the difference between coaching and gambling.
Correct.
Because that's what we do. He's going to throw a pick.
So, like,
I'm
that's...
throwing a special teams touchdown here, Paul. What about
I got a feeling.
So that's where all these, so the general rule of thumb is field goals are going to get you beat. Now, does that mean it's always going to get you beat? Of course not. There's no certainties in any of this. If people had certainties, no one would ever lose.
I would love to hear what Adam Vinatieri thinks about field goals are going to lose you. The guy's
50-yard field goals are great.
Rings. He's got 4 rings.
Nope. Here's where field goals matter. End of game, end of half, 4th and long, and 45 yards plus.
See, I agree with that 100%. But and listen, I'm all for going for 4th and 1 or 4th and 1.5. But when these guys are going 4th and 4 and it's a 40-yarder, that's what I'm saying too. Like, I'm looking at like more yardage. So what do you consider, like, if you see a coach, Greg, if you see a coach go for it on 4th and 5 and it would be a 47-yarder, do you think that that's a silly move if it's not those situations you just mentioned?
Again, how much time? There's so many factors, right? How much time's remaining? Am I winning or losing? Does this make it a... Now, if I'm up 8 and there's 3.5 minutes to go, of course I'm going to kick the field goal. I'm going to go up 11, and with 2.5 minutes, barring you recovering an onside kick, you're not going to have enough possessions to beat me, right? So there's a math in all of this where it comes down to how many times most likely will you possess the ball, and in those possessions, do you have enough to catch me? If I don't think you have 2 possessions left, being up 2 possessions is great. Going up 2 possessions with 9.5 minutes to go is much different than going up 2 possessions with 2 minutes to go. Right. Because you just virtually don't have the amount of time. So there's a lot of elements to this. If I was goal to go situation, unless it was end of half, game winner. 4th and goal, I'm not kicking a field goal.
Okay.
Because now, again, I have 4th and goal from the 5-yard line, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't get it. You now possess the ball on your 5-yard line.
Right.
If I have the ball on the 5-yard line, I'm trying to get a touchdown. That's ultimately the greatest part of all of this. But let's say I kick a field goal. I got 3 points, and you now get the ball at the 35-yard line. So for me getting 3 points, I gave you 30 yards. From the 5 to, let's call it the 35 with the new kickoff rule. You got 30 yards for doing nothing.
Yeah.
I hate how wrong I was about all of this.
Again, it's not wrong. It's not right or wrong. Remember, this new kickoff rule is brand new.
Sense.
No, it's
remember
great.
the kickoff rule. Remember, the kickoff rule is brand new. Teams are still trying to figure out how to kick it, where to kick it, how to cover it.
They won't kick it out of the end zone now. Everybody does like a little pooch kick.
Well, because you kick it into the end zone, you give your opponent the ball at the 35-yard line. You get
Why
1.5.
Why is it the 35? Because
they want it.
Sells the fucking game. This is what drives me nuts. There's no like monsters of the midway anymore. It's like nobody can stop anybody. I remember a few years ago, I'm going to go on a fucking rant here. That fucking Bills-Chiefs game was one of the worst fucking games I've ever seen in my life. It was like 57-56. Everybody's up and down the fucking field. And there wasn't one tackle in the whole
13
game.
seconds left.
It's like, what am I watching? This is like a fucking video game. And my feeling is that they've reached maximum density on the fucking real football fan. The casual fan they got. Taylor Swift, they got to get her to the Super Bowl so all the Swifties are watching. Then they call off the dogs and they let them play and you get a shit game, right? I mean, I just feel like all of these, like the hockey, they get rid of the red line, the stupid stretch pass. You want to sit behind the goaltender now because you're doing this like you're at Wimbledon. I don't know. I just feel like every game now they're trying to like juice up the ball, make the stadium smaller, try to like, I mean, plenty of time. There's plenty of time left. You're like, what the fuck are they talking about? This game is over. And then there's like 3 more scores. I just feel like it's marketing.
That's what they want.
I feel like the prevent defense was invented not by coaches. It was invented in the marketing department of the NFL to make sure no fucking game is over. It drives me insane. It drives me insane. Like I can't.
You should get season tickets to the Houston Texans. You would love them.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Their
Texans,
defense is nasty.
Dude, their defense is unbelievable.
Their defense is unbelievable.
Seattle,
I feel like they're
Seattle.
playing Belichick ball. Win 17-10, 19-17. They're playing like that. I love how they're playing. I like to see great offense. I also want to see great defense. I just, this up and down, and everybody turns into Joe Montana. You got some scrub coming off the sideline running the 2-minute offense like he's fucking John Elway. It's stupid. It's not. There's something. Whatever. I don't know.
Well, listen.
People started doing this.
Hey,
Greg.
here's
In
the experiment.
Gym, everybody turns into to a Hall of Fame quarterback with 2 minutes left.
All right, we're gonna do an experiment, Bill. I'm gonna get you, and you're gonna come do a game with me in the booth, and it's gonna be 10-7 it's gonna be 13-6 in the fourth quarter, and I'm going to be holding you from jumping out of the window if you got to talk over that for 3 hours. There's a lot more. I'm just talking about from a broadcast perspective.
All right, I'm not gonna ask you to go any further into that. That is the rain delay of football, 13-7.
Well, let's tell Greg the real reason why he's here. Greg, the real reason why he's here is because I need you to coach the Giants. I'm a diehard Giants fan. Let's get you to New York. Come on, man. Listen. You have Dart. You'll have a healthy Neighbors. You'll have a healthy Scatterboo. You got a nice defensive line. We'll draft you got a maybe first round pick. You draft a defensive back. You got a good team there, Greg.
You want to hear a great story?
Yes.
So a couple of years ago, the hiring cycle where they hired Dable. This was probably like a week or two before they officially announced that they hired Dayball. My wife and I are in New York City, and we're having dinner at the Polo Bar. And we're sitting in that basement there. It's an awesome spot in New York, and we're with two of our friends, and we're having a nice dinner. And there was a couple next to us, and you're having drinks and we're having fun, and we're living, we're having a good off-season dinner. You know what I'm saying? And over the course of the dinner, we start talking to this couple next to us. It turns out it's Tish, the owner of the Giants.
Yeah.
So I've probably had a couple old fashions. And we start out just like, how's the hiring going? And we start like getting like a nice conversation about the process of hiring a head coach. Well, like an hour and a half goes by. I don't know. I guess I had a couple more old fashions in me by the end. And next thing you know, I went on like a 20-minute like job interview.
That's fucking.
And I'm literally sitting 3 feet from him in this restaurant, and I'm getting like this. I'm like getting progressively more like emotional and like excited, and I'm like selling this idea that he should hire me because we sat next to each other in the Polo Bar. So long story short, the next morning I wake up, and my wife's like, and I was like, Kara, did I pitch myself to the owner of the Giants? She's like, yeah. I was like, do you think he bought it? Like, how did I do? So in my mind, I've interviewed for one head coaching job unofficially. I didn't get it, but it was with the Giants.
That's
Well, listen, the next one you do, you'll be sober. You know what I mean?
Maybe I'll get it.
Dude,
yeah, instead of being half in the bag. Hey, Paul, we're going to run out of time here. Let's make sure I want to talk to you about something that I'm getting into because my kids are like starting to play organized sports and everything.
Yes, please talk about this.
And there's a part of me maybe wants to coach a little bit, but I'm like, what do I know? Obviously, I've learned I don't know anything listening to you, but I know like that youth sports is a huge thing for you, and that was one of the things that you wanted to talk about, the whole Youth Inc. If you're wondering why he's wearing the merch and he's got the flag above him, tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, it's a project that we're really excited about. I've been out there having conversations with people via podcasts and different outlets for the last couple years on our Youth Inc. program, and interviewing coaches and athletes and Olympians and parents, just everyone about the good, the bad, the in-between of the youth sports landscape. And really what started was, my dad was my high school football coach, prototypical old school discipline high school football vibe for 30 years in New Jersey, coached me and my brothers. So I grew up in locker rooms, grew up around it. And now full circle, after making a living, I'm raising 3 kids, 2 boys and a daughter. My wife and I would lay in bed at night. We'd be at dinner with friends, and the entire conversation was about youth sports. a great story. What team is your kid on? Are you doing lessons? This guy in the gym, what the coach is doing. It would dominate everything we did. And I was like, you know what? If we don't have the answers for any of this shit, who does? I've lived my entire life in this world and I don't even understand what's going on now. Let's go out and have these conversations. So from there, it's grown into an entire platform, multi-content contributors, all sports, men's, women's, high level, just all across the board. There's content, there's information. We're doing like a mini doc of, we got some guys going around that are like crashing practice at baseball teams, some 2 really cool social media influence guys. So it's a really cool, there's a commerce engine behind it for teams to like customize gear and schools and whatnot. So it's a really fun project. But Bill, I'm just going to call it right now. You're going to say you're going to be the calm parent. I'm going to sit by myself and I'm going to clap. You're not going to do it.
No.
You can't.
No.
No, I was telling him earlier.
It's impossible.
No, dude.
Well, I was at a practice. No, my daughter's she had a game, and I yelled out, "Don't be afraid to hurt someone."
Oh no, dude.
She was playing like she's a little bigger than the other kids, so.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I just said that out loud, and I'm gonna get sued
dude,
or something like that.
I coached Sophia's 5th grade basketball team, and in the championship game, the ref kid who was a senior in high school, his sister was against us. And when they beat us by 2, I go, "You guys wanted to fix it, huh?" And I meant it, dude. I sounded like a lunatic. I go, "You can't do that. That's his sister." And my wife is like, "Let's get out of here." So it's nuts.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things like in the heat of the moment, like you're not allowed to bring it up the next day. Like what's said is, and then we all get to like move on because it does sound crazy. And I'm the first one to raise my hand. Like I feel like I've gotten better. I still have a lot of room for improvement. I'm like the most honest, like self-assessor in this world. Like
you can't shut it off, man. You can't shut it off.
I can't. Like I am a highly competitive, again, to your point, I am a highly emotional, competitive. I want to see kids play hard. I don't even care about the winning and losing. Like I've walked out of gyms of teams that I've coached or fields that I've coached and we've lost. And I'd be like, you know what? Actually, they were better than us, but I actually thought we played pretty good. I'm fine.
Yeah.
And then I've walked out of gyms and fields where we've won by 30 and I like can't sleep. Like I am all about develop the kids, get them better. If the environment is getting them better in middle school and elementary school, you should stay on that team and stay with that coach. Or if you're the coach, you're doing a great job. That is all that matters. High school, wins and losses matter. Don't get me wrong. Like we're not doing this shit for a hobby. Like we're trying to win. But the development piece has gotten so bad that I sit there and I just like jump out of my skin. And that's why I end up trying to just volunteer to coach as many teams as they'll let me. Because I'm like, I'm not saying I'm great, but I'm going to bust my ass to get your daughter better, your son better, your daughter, whatever it is, they will get better.
When you say the development piece, what are you talking about? Pre-high school and getting your fundamentals down and that type of thing?
Everything about the youth sports journey has completely flipped from developing skills, both emotional skills, physical skills, overall just like gross motor skills, running, jumping, big, strong, fast, the individual skills relative to the sport, field hockey, lacrosse, baseball, football, they all have very different fine motor skills that are important to the thing. All of that skill development, emotionally and physical, is the entire reason everyone should do youth sports for their kids. If your kid by a sophomore year in high school is a gifted athlete and your daughter's a great basketball player and your son's a great hockey, whatever, you'll know it. And now we got to get serious. And now it's time to like really hunker in and like we got to go and we're taking blood, right? Like we're playing for blood now and we're ripping. Yeah. When they're in 6th grade, like I need to teach my daughter how to play basketball. I need to teach my son how to pitch or how to hit or how to field a ground ball. Like we need to focus on the development. And what happens is, myself included, you get so caught up in the winning. And the argument is I could get better players and then the end result will be I'll win more and everyone feels like you're a better coach and the team's gotten better. But what's lost in all of that is if you focus on development, the grind, practice, communication skills, consistent messaging, and you do all those things right, you will, as a byproduct, win a lot of games. But that is a much more difficult path For a parent, it's a much more difficult path for a coach, but it is the best path for the kid. That has completely flipped upside down across the spectrum. Travel ball, guest playing, kids flying in from all over the
travel teams, man. There's kids, my daughter's age, they're on travel teams, and I'm like, you got a road game at 8 years old? I mean, this is insane.
I've done it.
I don't know. I'm sort of viewing the whole thing as like, they're gonna go out there, they're gonna have fun. Look, they have my genes, all right? I'm a stand-up comedian. I don't think I'm gonna make an MLB baseball. I mean, if all of a sudden, I don't know, something from way back in the past gets into my kid's DNA, and all of a sudden I'm obviously going to support it. But like, my thing is, I played sports. I had fun. It was fun. And I go there now. It's just like, dude, the equipment, everybody with all the different cleats and all of the shit and the bats and all of this stuff. It was just like, whatever, I'm just like dirty baseballs and like these bats that were like 30 years old. It's the crap
those days are over.
Yeah, like the grip would be worn out on like the aluminum bats from all of these years. And like, now, if you had 2 batting gloves, you were a rich kid when I was a kid.
Especially if they were the same color. One's red and one's white, Here's the thing. We coach our kids, my 2 sons, we coached their middle school football team the last couple of years at our school. And no one's ever going to say, oh, they don't care about winning. We do care about winning. We are very honest with our families. Like, we aren't giving up our whole summer. We are not giving up all this time and energy that we're going to pour into these kids to not get the end result that everybody wants. The difference in our approach, and we win a lot, the difference in our approach is we are going to pour into these kids for 6 months, every day, summer workouts, weight training, speed and conditioning, all summer.
How to talk to the press.
How to talk to the press. Don't listen. Yeah. But like, there is an art though to like teaching these kids the art of work, the art of hard, the art of grind. And if you do that every day, as cliche as that sounds, all of a sudden, Wednesday afternoon, the whole school's sitting in the bleachers watching us play a middle school football game, and we rip, and we're throwing touchdowns, we're running for touchdowns, we're knocking kids' helmets off, like we're playing real football. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is so fun. I'm like, yeah, but we started doing this 4 months ago at 8 a.m. while you were at the beach. Like, this shit's hard.
Yeah,
the game is fun.
When it wasn't fun. I also think the great thing about sports, for the cliche stuff, learning how to lose. Winning and losing and how to take a loss.
I'm a terrible loser.
But like taking responsibility, understanding that, if I want the ball the whole time, that's hurting the team. I hate that's something else that's driven me nuts, like watching sports, how certain sports, like really like people like just like, this is my team. I'm not going to get into, but people walking off the courts during losses and shit. You did that when I was a kid. You were a bad teammate and it wasn't rewarded. Yeah. And I feel, I don't know. I'm a bit of a grumpy old man, but we do have to get onto the picks.
Yeah, we got to get up. Yeah,
I do have something at 11.
I was just going to say,
but real quick, you think, what is the website? It's something that parents can go on to and get this information. Let's make sure people know where they can go for that.
Yeah, it's youth.inc. And the platform, the commerce, the content engine, it's all there on one simple site. And appreciate you guys giving me a chance to chat about it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna check that out. My daughter is like crazy into sports, as is my son. This is my proudest moment so far with my son. Is I was throwing overhand to my daughter, and he came up and I underhanded the ball. He didn't swing at it, and he goes, "Dad, don't throw it like that. Throw it like this." And he threw it at me like really hard. So I said, all right, and I threw one overhanded, and he crushed it.
Nice.
So, of course, in my head,
no greater feeling.
He's already going to the MLB.
He's Aaron Judge. It's
exactly.
Done. Get him a private coach. A private coach.
Yeah, but it's fun. All right, are you gonna?
We're gonna do the picks now. Here's how this works. So with anything better, Greg, what we do is Bill and I and our producers too, and our injury guy, we all do it. But Bill and I do picks. We do 4 games each against the spread. This is our 5th year. I beat the book 4 years in a row, and I am getting the shit kicked out of me this year. Bill is hovering right around 500. I did go 3-1 this week. Shador Sanders and the Browns were the only game that screwed me. But Bill, it is an odd week. Oh, before we do it though, we have to shout out the sponsor, guys. It's BetMGM. You guys know it's the best odds out there. Here's how it works. You download the BetMGM app to your device. You put as little as $10 in your wager. If you lose the wager, you will get $1,500 in bonus bets. Please bet responsibly. And we also have the first touchdown promo. You pick any player in any NFL game to get the first touchdown of that game. If they do, you win. If they don't, but in fact get the second touchdown, you'll get your cash back. So there you go, Bill. This is an odd week. Okay. So that means you go first on an odd week, and there you go. The floor is yours.
All right, I'm going to wade right into the deep water because up until like the last couple of weeks, I didn't know who was good this year. You know what I mean? So
it's a weird year.
The Patriots have already beaten the Bills. It was a shocker when they did. The Bills are like reeling. I just can't believe that they're not a good team. I really have a difficult time with thinking that we're going to beat them twice. It always feels like when a team is, division rivalries, they're going to get you with one. So we already beat them. Now they're coming in. That's how I look at it, Greg. There's no analytics. Hey, there's no knowledge or whatever.
Right or wrong.
But I just feel like this is a pick'em game. And I just feel that Mike Vrabel, where he has this team, we had major problems, fumbling, turning over the ball, that, knock on wood, that has gone away. And I just think that this team is getting tighter and tighter and tighter every week. Everybody's doing their job. I know the Bills need a win. I know this is huge, but I'm actually going to take the Patriots getting 1 point at home because I think it's going to come down to the more disciplined team. And I just feel the Patriots are everybody's doing their job.
All right. Well,
see that, Greg? I can sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Great. No, it's a reasonable argument.
Well, I'm going to do something that look, I think the Miami Dolphins, what they're doing is pretty nuts considering McDaniel was going to get fired, and they've rattled off these wins. The Steelers are up and down. I'm not saying the Steelers are going to lose, but it's that half a point. It's the 3.5. So I'm going to take the Dolphins getting 3.5 on the road Monday Night Football against the Steelers. I just feel like they're clicking, and I feel like they're going to actually win the game outright, but I like the 3.5 points. So I'm going to take Miami on Monday night.
I'm actually going the exact opposite. I'm taking the Steelers because I think the Dolphins have been playing some really shit teams and padding some wins. And everybody's looking at them like all of a sudden they figured something out. I don't know. I think Aaron Rodgers, the level of competitor that he is, I don't think he wants to go out not winning. And I think they had a big win last week. And I think, I don't know. I think they got a little mojo going there in Pittsburgh. I'm taking the Steelers, Paul. We're going head to head there.
All right. I like it. I am going to take the Denver Broncos at home. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos at home against the Packers, getting 2.5. Andrew, that's right. Denver's getting 2.5. Oh, wait a minute. Bill, how dare us? We forgot to bring in Jake for the injury report. Jake, get in here.
This is how awkward it is every week, Greg. This is massive chunks of silence.
Hey, how you doing?
Jake the Snake.
What do you got, dude?
Hey, well, just before we got on, the Schefter tweeted out that Jaden Daniels will be out against the Giants. So that's a big loss there. He re-injured his elbow against the Vikings. 2 big defensive injuries. We saw Jalen Carter have shoulder surgery, so he's going to be out again. He's a really big player for the Eagles. And then the Lions lost their best safety, Brian Branch. And then, Greg, I had a question for you since we were talking about injuries here. We were talking about this a little bit before we got on, but Daniel Jones obviously out for the year with a torn Achilles, so they're going to bring in Phillip Rivers, 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. And then the other quarterback that's out for the year is Kyler Murray. So they're both free agents this summer. Who do you think is more likely to re-sign with their team, or do you think they're both moving on?
Yeah, I think you're in the difference between Indianapolis and Arizona is, I think a couple weeks ago at the trade deadline, Indianapolis felt obviously very good, as they should, about Daniel Jones and their season. You're thinking you're going to be a playoff team. There was a time they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. You're thinking, all right, we win a couple playoff games. We're trading around. They traded a first-round pick for Sauce Gardner, but at the time, you're thinking you're going to make a deep run, and we'll give a first-round pick, but it's going to be at the end of the first round, not as valuable. Well, now all hell breaks loose. You lose Daniel Jones. We'll see how the season finishes with Phillip Rivers or Riley Leonard or whoever ends up playing quarterback. But if they lose too many games, God forbid, don't make the playoffs, all of a sudden what they thought was going to be an end of first round pick now turns into a middle of the first round pick, albeit Sauce Gardner is a good player. If you need a quarterback and the plan is to draft a guy in the draft, maybe not a great quarterback draft, especially if you're not picking at the top. So they're in a little bit of an interesting scenario. We'll see how it all works out based on how they do in the playoffs. But I love Daniel Jones. I was a Daniel Jones guy when he was in the Giants. I thought he got a lot of negative flack for a guy who did a lot of things really well. He's big, he's strong, he's athletic. He was playing as well as anybody in the league until he broke his leg, showed his toughness by playing on a broken leg, and obviously compensated and unfortunately ruptured his Achilles, which is devastating.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked to see. I guess to answer your question is, I think Indianapolis is much more likely to re-sign Daniel Jones. Kyler Murray, I cannot imagine is back in Arizona.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, that being said, I'm going to take the Broncos at home against the Packers. I watched the Broncos, and I think they're really good, man. I think they're really good. I mean, listen, nothing.
Had a really interesting end of the game last week.
What's that?
That whole delay a game and let's kick a field goal for no friggin' reason.
Yeah.
Paul, it's Pete Carroll. It's all.
Oh,
it's all above board. It's all above board.
And then the week before, Washington went for 2 to beat them, didn't they?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that was against Denver.
And they tipped the ball down. That was against Denver, wasn't it?
Listen, there was a reason for a long time they did not want to have any professional teams in Las Vegas. And this is before professional sports gambling took over the whole damn league. All right, so Paul, you going Broncos?
I'm going Broncos, getting 2.5 at home against Green Bay.
All right, I'm taking the Chiefs, getting 4.5 at home. I always feel those games come down. Chiefs games always come down to a couple of points. They need a win like nobody's business. The Chargers already beat them this year. Division rivalry. Those games are always close. 3.5, I still would have taken the Chiefs. 4.5, I'll take that extra point. I'm taking the Chiefs, Paul. Not watching the game. Not watching the game, though.
All right. Well, I'm going to take my. What's up, buddy?
I was just going to ask, since we were talking about the Chiefs, what do you think is the biggest problem with the Chiefs so far? Like, what's been the reason they're not in the playoffs as of right now?
I think fans all last year, there was just too many of us saying that they were getting all the calls and this was manufactured stuff to get Taylor Swift there. And then they got Taylor Swift to the Super Bowl, and then they called the dogs off and they got exposed.
All right.
Greg, you don't have to weigh in.
Yeah,
definitely. That's definitely.
No surprise here. I'm going to take, and I'm going to take
Bill,
New York.
Bill, just for the record, Chiefs are giving 4.5. Just want to make that clear.
Oh shit, my fault. Wait.
Yeah, the Chiefs are favored.
The Chiefs are favored 4.5.
Jesus Christ! All right, fuck that game. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna do a stupid bet here because I'm an old dad. Phillip Rivers got 10 kids, 13.5 points. I'm just sniffing a backdoor cover here, Paul.
All right,
I like that. Seahawks are going to be up by like 19, and then they're going to go try to run out the clock, and Phillip's going to, little Grecian formula in the beard. It's going to go down backdoor cover.
Phillip Rivers going to walk out there like John Wayne and get that to make sure that they get those 13.5. I love that.
All right.
I'm going to take my New York Football Giants. Look, Jackson Dart's got a swag to him that I really like. Jaden Daniels not playing for the Commanders. And I think the Giants, I just can't see them not getting another win this year. So I think that this is the win that they're going to get. And it's -2.5. They win by a field goal. Who knows who the kicker is going to be. But I'm going to take my Giants against the beat-up Commanders with the backup quarterback.
All right, this is my last one. Why are the Vikings getting 6 points in Dallas?
That is a strange spread. I don't know the answer. It feels like, they always try to juice up the Cowboys, try and get people to bet it either way. But, I mean, there's not a ton of injuries either way.
All right, I'll be the idiot. And I'll take the Vikings because I feel like that's what Vegas wants me to do. I'll take the Vikings.
Who's favored?
The
Cowboys.
Vikings are getting 6 points going into Dallas.
Oh, the Cowboys are favored over the Vikings.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
All right.
6?
And
I don't know. You can't comment on this.
I don't know. I don't know enough about gambling. I'm having a hard time.
I think you
keeping
know
up
a
with
little bit.
giving and taking. I play
All
more
right.
blackjack.
all right, for my last pick, I am going to take Dan.
Am I
Campbell.
staying on 16 with that?
No.
All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna take Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. They are getting 5.5 points from the Rams. Again, I could see the Rams pulling that out, but I kind of like the Lions getting 5.5. I just think that they're going to fight this week. I think they need to fight this week, so I like the points with the Lions.
Didn't Jake say their best safety's out? Did
He
you say
is,
that?
but
Branch.
Paul is right. The Lions do need to win this game at 85. They got to keep up in the wild card race.
All right, let's knock out the Monday night special.
Think how much easier it'll be for them to cover if they get a bunch of those fourth downs, though.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dan Campbell does not dress the
Hey,
punter.
all I know is here. I'm just going to say this right now. If Dan Campbell goes for a late fourth down, and it's the difference between you winning what you bet, you have to come back on next Monday and take back everything bad you said against them. Is that a deal?
That's a deal.
Mark it.
That's
Mark
okay.
it.
All right. We got the Monday night special now where we all
We
pick.
don't want a half-ass apology either, Paul. I want a written statement.
Yes.
And actually, Greg could be part of the Monday night special, or at least nod his head with some things. So what we do on the Monday night special is collectively as a show, we pick 3 things that are going to happen in the game, whether it's the spread, who's going to catch a touchdown, who's going to throw one. We do 3 things. And this week's Monday Night Football, we have the Miami Dolphins going in to Pittsburgh. Miami is getting 3.5 points. I think you got to take what do you want to do, Jake? You're usually good. You like the running back getting one?
Yeah, the Dolphins have Devon Achane. I think he might be questionable, but if he plays, that's definitely a good pick. I think Steelers' money line might be a good pick if you guys think the Steelers will win
I like
outright.
Steelers money line and Aaron Rodgers to throw one, and then we need one more thing.
We can do
Paul, you don't
Achane
like
or
that because you
Jalen
took the Dolphins. This is what's going to be fucking hard.
No,
we got to
listen.
wrap this up. Greg has a life.
I care more about my pick than the thing. That's fine. Go ahead. I'm fine with it. I'll roll with it.
All right, money line, Aaron Rodgers to throw one, and then
We'll do the Dolphins. We'll do the Dolphins running back to score one, and there you go, whatever those odds are. And here's how you know Greg Olsen was a great guest and he's a gentleman, because he talks to parents and he says, I'm going to make your kid better. You know what I would do if I was you? When the parent came to me, I go, dude, I'm fucking Greg Olsen. Get out. I know what I'm doing. Get out of here.
I don't know what I'm doing. That's the best part. I'm figuring it out as I go.
Yes, dude, obviously check out the website, and thank you so much for being on, dude. You were such a great guest, so insightful, and you made me really second guess all the times me and Bill text each other saying take the points. Okay,
I know.
that's what we do.
Put me on the group checks. We'll share thoughts. Just don't text me while I'm on air.
That's awesome. Guys, enjoy the
Appreciate
games
you.
this week. Bet responsibly. Check me out at the Edmond Town Hall Theater this Friday night in Newtown, Connecticut. And we will see you guys. Yeah, we'll see you guys
and
next
youth.inc. Check that out.
And Greg,
Youth.inc.
Greg does great stuff with for people with heart conditions as well. So really unbelievable. Wanted to shout that out before we go.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Greg.
He's an all-around great guy. All right, Greg, thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
This has been
Thanks.
Anything Better. We'll see you next week. Thank you.